a long stretch, yeah. I want to give you some nice UNC song. What is that? With the Orlando.
Allow the vehicles to go down straight. Those heading west, proceed. Those heading west, proceed.
Now is the time!
Walk slow.
And the robots live now with the politics. The live audio. Like, she said, put eggs by the rising sun, all them kiss your son, isn't it? All your tokos and the grande. Yo, they go on UNC.
Get back on all your vehicles, they're going to be proceeding from here. Please clear the roadway, allow the vehicles to pass, cameraman, watch all your elbow, watch your elbow, don't stick out your elbow in the road.
Tokos and the grande, go on UNC, all your, trust me, all your feel
watch your elbow,
what was in the local election.
Allow vehicles heading west.
Hey, all you feel what is, all you feel the elections what again in the local election.
From here, we're going to be we're going to be making a left into La Ceiba. So stay close, you're going to be making a left heading into La Ceiba.
I joke,
and then we're going straight back all the way to the constituency office. So you all get set, and I find all you're not waving on your flags. Those of you who have t-shirts, those of you who have banners, supporters and other people are coming out of the street and asking for t-shirts and banners. If you have more than one, you can give it away or get back one.
I love you, man.
So if you have t-shirts, kids are asking for bandanas, kids are asking for t-shirts. So let's paint the tongue yellow. Vehicle coming up, please clear the roadway. Clear the roadway, let the vehicle come through. Let the vehicles come up nice and clear. Clear the roadway. Good, all your mount up. We're getting ready to move
here now. Use one of them too. Tell me.
Love, vote for Nabila. Love 100%. Look, my girl here.
Vote for Nabila Green.
No one else. 100%.
Full 100.
We love you. And I like that on your chest. 100%.
Powers.
Wow.
Lessons. Hey, all here. Loving the constituency. No borders. Live.
We're ready to move. We're rolling now. We're rolling now. Back in your vehicle. In your vehicle. Roll out.
Toko Sandy Grande, Nabila Green all here. Live and alive. Alright, you know we had to get back in the vehicle now because you know we felt it out again, right? And they jump out and show you a little niceness here. It's nice, it's long, it's big, trust me. Real decent all here. Yeah, them scared right now. They're frightened. Yeah. Share the live all here. Share the live to everybody all you know. Let it pay, especially them PNM people and them. Them PNM people and them all here. Let them see what's going on in Toko Sandy Grande. All you feel that local election blows was anything to talk about? They're going to lose the seat. And tomorrow, please God, we down in Moruga table and again with the leader. So all you know what's going on. Yeah, that is a second dip in Moruga table, and we're going to give Gypsy a cocktail of his life.
Jump in there, let's go. Jump in, let's go.
Well, you and see here, boy, always, okay?
You're turning wrong, so.
Return yourself.
My brother, how it go?
You don't know we take them already?
Yes, sir.
It's just to bury them now?
Just to bury them now. If they feel local election was licked, there's no they go get it.
They're dead.
They're dead this time. Yes,
Bury
sir.
them now.
Yes, sir. Respect.
Yeah.
Love, love, love. What is that going on there? What is that going on up there? Oh God! What is that there? What is that there? What is that there? What is that? What is that there?
I'm serious, you know, don't fit to me, because I can show you I'm more serious, you know, don't fit to me, brother. Don't do that. Don't do that, don't fit to me. Get to yourself. Because you see the fucking Facebook talking a bundle of shit.
So wait now.
You feel me, I know you are. Don't fit to me.
Hold on,
right?
some John.
Don't say don't fit to me.
Yeah, but uncle, all I call for uncle.
Wait a minute, don't fit to me, man. I want you to know don't fit to me. You're looking for, if you're looking for things, look for somebody. Don't fit to me.
Yeah, but all I call for uncle.
I tell you, don't fit to me.
Kamla Prasad Bisesa issued an instruction to all United National Congress warriors, including the Douglas, prepare to serve the people, suspend the political campaign, and prepare for Gonzalo. That's what we did. The United National Congress warriors across Trinidad were ready to serve anyone who was affected by Gonzalo. But Gonzalo got a memo like Maduro, like Delcy, like Wilmer Ruperti, like Trafigura, like PDVSA, that Kamla don't play. She's not playing with any sanction. She's not playing with sanctioned jets. There will be no meeting face to face with sanctioned individuals and people on indictment for narco-terrorism, money laundering, corruption and drug trafficking. Kamla Prasad Bisesa shall bring respectability back to Trinidad and Tobago, lift the confidence level of the United States of America, our #1 trading partner. Dogra politics. We move into the critical seat of Tunapuna, where national captain David Nakhid has taken the ball, dribbled about 23 men, and is moving towards the goal to score a victory for the United National Congress in Tunapuna. David Nakhid, goal! Go, 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 goal! Dogra politics from Tunapuna, 7:29 p.m. Sunday, 7:29 p.m. Douglas Politics, David Nakhid.
I'm a soldier warrior. I say win or lose, I am a fighter. I'm a soldier warrior. I come to sign the nationality.
My name is David Nakhid, and I'm the UNC candidate for MP for Tunapuna. And it has been a fantastic experience until now, and we look forward every day to improving the lives of the people of our constituency. One of the things that I find tremendous joy in is walking through the constituency and getting to know the people across the political divide, whether they be for any party. I like to hear their concerns.
My name is Donnie Goodrich. I'm from the constituency of Tunapuna It has been 19 days. Our Tunapuna candidate, Mr. David Nakhid, has been on the ground, touching the lives of our immigrated residents. Come out and put your X by the rising sun. Vote UNC.
Tunapuna has real potential for growth and development. It must be taken forward. Now is the time for something different. Join me and together we will make that difference. On August 10th, rise early, say your prayers and go out and vote for me, David Nakhid, and the United National Congress. Thank you.
Well, watch man. And the man something like outside there. UNC. Yeah, them people real stink. Yeah, them people real mad. Yeah, them people real evil. Yeah, something wrong with them. Yeah, well, yeah, my life, the life that I do, happy and them people real tripping. Yeah, they're going mad. Outsider, you know. Guyanese, I mean, you know, I don't really waste on people's nationality and that kind of thing, but I mean, you know, you're coming in my own country and telling me about the work that I do in where my politics is concerned. Could you imagine somebody going in Guyana, Trinidad, and going in Guyana and behaving like that? No. That is serious problems over here. I mean, you know, violence is not my first, you know, approach. You know, but at the end of the day, you know, people have to, you know, stand up. What the cheer is this? You know, but in situations like these, you know, yo, where is the pally? Yeah, man, bag of mango, boy. Eh? That soft mango, them now fall off the tree there. You know, I know you picking them up there, boy. What hard mango, boy. I hope you voted UNC, you know. Go, nah. Go only and vote UNC, bye. I see this area, see? Lana, no? Before they have a little piece of land over there. see business running here. Get it? You know, to make it, you know what I mean? You know, to make the yellow, you know? Wrong party boy, wrong party boy. Wrong party boy. They played so. Yeah.
My name is David Nakhid, and I'm the UNC candidate for MP for Tunapuna. And it has been a fantastic experience until now. And we look forward every day to improving the lives of the people of our constituency. One of the things that I find tremendous joy in is walking through the constituency and getting to know the people across the political divide, whether they be for any party. I like to hear their concerns.
My name is Donnie Goodrich. I'm from the constituency of Tunapuna. It has been 19 days. Our Tunapuna candidate, Mr. David Nakhid, has been on the ground, touching the lives of our immigrant-led residents. Come out and put your X by the rising sun. Vote UNC.
Tunapuna has real potential for growth and development. It must be taken forward. Now is the time for something different. Join me and together we will make that difference. On August 10th, rise early, say your prayers and go out and vote for me, David Nakhid, and the United National Congress. Thank you.
Of maligning the young lady's name, this decent young lady's name and character, they turn. UNC all here, UNC all here, UNC. Alright, I'm gonna sort out that for you. Gotta get some beauty and things. Paraphernalia, Kamala, passing here now. Yeah. Only line, watch me, no borders. Only line, no borders doing real damage, boy. Eh? Now, boy, you see, you just had to do so much, you know, you just had to think so quickly, boy, because at the end of the day, hi, mama, UNC, right? Early. Yeah, but we had to go early in the morning, no. They move them out, move them out. Move them. Move out the PNM. UNC early in the morning. Eh? White girl? White girl? Yeah, mama, right? But I ain't playing, but I want a part of the PNM, boys. But I don't want a part of PNM. UNC. Yeah, we gotta crush them up here, boy. All we in Toko Sandy Grande in Nabila Green, the marginal constituency of Toko Sandy Grande. If all you feel in the local election, we dealt with the PNM by taking the corporation. You remember we went in, we were split. Right now we have the corporation. Alright? If the PNM feel they get a wake up call there, yeah, what happening? This will be the wake up call. My little shot on the ground here, it feeling nice. We still have 2 weeks again to actually, you know, seal it now. Now certain people believe it's sealed already. And them is people from up here. Ain't no doubt about it. I ain't doubting them at all. You understand? I'm not from up here. But the little trot I trot here now, I telling you, it's feeling nice. It's feeling nice. I'm telling you. Yeah, and there's a must win and you have to remember people doubt we in the local election, you know. They doubt we, you know, all here. They doubt we, but they mustn't doubt the IRA. Nah. UNC all you vote, UNC all you. Sandy Grande or Nabila Green. Motorcade is nice. Yeah. PNM definitely have to be concerned with the sea. No doubt about it. PNM definitely have to be concerned about this one.
One candidate, one party, UNC.
UNC all you, UNC, the better party all you. Toko Sandy Grande, marginal constituency of Toko Sandy Grande. Candidate Nabila Green, decent young lady. Yeah, them nasty, vile, despicable, evil, foul propaganda and lies about the young lady backfired on them. And the deal has already been sealed according to some of the people who are living in the constituency. First time I trot up here and I telling you, it's feeling good, it's feeling nice. It's riding. Yeah, for sure. Northeastern College earlier.
Community right now.
Passing the Northeastern College right now.
Remember, get to the polls very early in 15 days' time. You're going to be making one of the most powerful men in local politics. Mr. Mila Green, your next MP, representing from Matlock all the way to Valencia. Every community has said green.
Coco Sandy Grande earlier.
Every street, every home, and of course, where we come into recreation for the big celebration. Remember, August 10th, you.
It looking nice. But I don't talk about this move by this tyrannical, dictatorial, fascist move by the PNM by Keith Rowley. This communist move by the PNM, Dr. Keith Rowley and the PNM, to not invite election, international, regional and international observers, saying that they're supposed to reach by today, and if they didn't reach by today, you know, they wouldn't be able to undergo the 14-day quarantine. And he talked a lot of stuff about the other. They have to fund, or the international observers couldn't come because they have no funds. That's a lie. That's not how it works. They have their own funds. They have their own funds. And he is trying to show this kind of a, you know, he's sending out a narrative, a lie, about if the government were to fund them, it can take the whole exercise. I mean, this is crazy, man. This is crazy. But you haven't heard the last of this. I'm telling you, this is very serious, because we know that their intention is to steal the election. I've been telling you that from long time now. It is Keith Rowley's intention to steal the election, because he knows he cannot win the election.
But Gonzalo got a memo like Maduro, like Delcy, like Wilmer Ruperti, like Prafigura, like PDVSA, that Kamala don't play. She's not playing with any sanction. She's not playing with sanction jets. There will be no meeting face to face with sanctioned individuals and people on indictment for narco-terrorism, money laundering, corruption and drug trafficking. Kamala Prasad Bisesa shall bring respectability back to Trinidad and Tobago, lift the confidence level of the United States of America, our #1 trading partner. Dogra politics. We move into the critical seat of Tunapuna, where national captain David Nakhid has taken the ball, dribbled about 23 men, and is moving towards the goal to score a victory for the United National Congress in Tunapuna. David Nakhid, goal! Go, 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 goal! Dogra politics from Tunapuna, 7:29 p.m. Sunday, 7:29 p.m. Dogra politics.
My father was a king. Residents, good night. Thank you for allowing us to pass through your home. Thank you very much for presenting to you Miss Nabila Green, your next member of parliament. You can see August 10th. Cast your vote. Family. Remember, get to the polls very early. Residents, thank you very much for allowing us to come through your home, into your community. This is You see. Your next member of parliament, Mr. Nakhid. Passing through. August 10. You know where to put your name. One party, UNC. One candidate, Nakhid. Your vote, my vote. Everybody. All of the night, thank you very much, brother. We're going to pass through your whole visit of shares. Have a great week. From your next MP, Mr. Nakhid. Thank you for allowing us to pass through your homes and into your community. Have yourself a wonderful night, a great week, a safe week, as we get set for August 10. When you get to the polls, when you vote in the ballot box.
Yeah. Yeah, we going back on
If you have your plan.
Yeah, but he's talking about like when normal life was constant.
People, thank you very much for allowing the motorcade to come out. Thank you, thank you. I'll let you down in the motorcade to come out. Thank you very much. I'll let you down in the motorcade to come out.
Well, we're going back on base. To the candidate. You know, let's give you a little, you know, a little word song now. There's the Guayco stretch here. Huh?
August 10. One candidate, one vote.
You for Sandy Grande all in a Bella Green is where we are right now. Huh? In the delivery, well. Nice store by Daniel.
You.
Is who you know say from St. Vincent there? Rupees, oh boy, Rupees Beach and St. Vincent. No boy, this boy from St. Vincent, skinny fabulous.
Douglas politics. Tuesday night, we're going into the Lion's Den. Oropouche East. Member of Parliament, Rudal Munilal, Tuesday night. Douglas politics, 7:30. Hear the lion roar. Rumbles! You can't give the lion any fight in that den. Make way for Rudal Munilal, Douglas politics, Anil Roberts, Munilal, Tuesday night, 7:30 p.m.
Full of education, a man with compassion. Make them be good and let's come together and come together. And no man boy and let's go to for happy
Everybody can play music. Alright, you want to do?
It's a Rasta. Love and respect, man. Yeah, man. The Rasta UNC. Oh shit, boy. Sorry, boy. UNC. Yeah, sorry. I can't have the glass enough.
Let's turn up the music on the truck. We're going to use the audio that will play music inside. Turn up the music on the truck.
I told you we touched down here.
Right, if all you want to jump, all you don't block the road, all you jump inside the yard, all you come in the yard and jump. We don't want nobody blocking up the road. We don't want nobody blocking up the road, we all you jump in the yard. Let us space in the yard.
Fuck, guys.
All you see the road is fast, we go jump in the yard. All you pass and allow people to go free. All you come and wave flag in the yard. Wave all your flag in the yard, we're not blocking up the roadway. We're parking inside the yard. Park properly and allow people to go east and west freely. All you can park in the yard. All you do not block up the roadway. Watch them let people pass free.
So how long you know here? How long you been there? So how come you so brave to come and sell land? Well brave to come and sell land.
All I want, wait, I find me the parking in the yard. Where the flag? Where the flag? Who's going to be done? Where come here to stand up to them?
So you're not brother Pakai, how it looking in the constituency?
My God.
Oh, don't block the road, let people pass.
We working hard. We working hard and genuine to ensure that Nabila Green is the MP for Togo and Uganda. Because what the PNM is offering, the constituent is a crook and a man that you can't depend on.
Big announcement.
We
Hold
say
up on the music,
that
there,
Togo
DJ. Hold up. You go be the DJ.
a proper candidate, and it is no other person but Nabila
Who is
Green.
this song, man?
She is the right choice.
Now this how did this nude video and this money video, played out, within the constituency.
Well, the thing about it is, they say out of evil cometh good. The thing about it is everybody know Nabila Green, a decent young lady. Everybody knows her as a matter
I
of
want
fact.
to say thank you very
I
much
am
to
the
all
person
of you who
that is
came to be part of this
for Nabila Green.
very exciting, very big motorcade.
And I know her.
If you are making your way home, please keep it on the water jump.
So it played out
Don't just jump
to
out
our
in the middle of the
benefit.
road.
The people of Tokos and Uganda
Don't
know
just jump out in
it
the
was
middle
a
of the road,
scam.
pull to the left.
Everybody know
Let people
that
come
it
up,
was
cross
a
the road
nasty
safely.
shit.
So it actually backfired on the PNM?
Yeah, it backfired on the PNM. And as a matter of fact, it backfired so much that Monroe family now open back the court.
Nice. So all of you who have been part of the very exciting motorcade,
he in more trouble.
if you're making your way home on
We
behalf
in
of,
Tokos and Uganda is saying
please
that
be
we
very, very
supporting
careful on the
Nabila
roadway.
Green, and
Please be
that
very
is the
careful.
way. That is the
Tomorrow is
correct
July 27th, and you know that's
Right, my
the day,
brother,
that's the day
respect.
that's
Yeah,
Yeah.
bless
on our
it, bless
psyche
it.
in Trinidad and Tobago. Let August 10th
Actually,
be
we
a day
touched
on
on
our
by the
psyche
office
as well.
here.
Get to the polls early. To all of you in your homes,
touched on- we touched on by the office, all they know me, I
Thank
wanna
you very
talk
much.
to the
I'll
youths
have
and
the
them.
commentary on the bedroom and so on. Right,
You know,
hold
there's
on.
the
I don't wanna
office.
rush it. Let me go and taste the doubles and the consul first, and all you will come after.
Touched down in the office here earlier. Guys, and look. Yeah. Right, true. So we are coming to you, go make all your, I'm coming to talk to you, go make all your poses, I just plug them back in my power there. Sorry. I'm in the corner here, talk to me. You are a resident of this constituency.
I am not a resident of this constituency. Nonetheless, see Miss Nabila Green, I strongly support her. As a female champion of this nation, of Trinidad and Tobago, I believe that women power and strength goes a long way.
So all your family in Toko and thing, you're calling them to make sure that they vote.
But of course, all the Arundels, and all the Nacassias, and all the Bradwits, I am calling you all to come out and support strongly.
Right. So all you understand how this thing that's going in this country, right? Even if you not living in a constituency and you're your family and your friends.
Wherever you want to know,
Alright, let me just tune in here. Let me just tune in here to listen to what the candidate is saying.
Everyone, we should say, let's continue to work hard as we press on to victory. Thank you so much. Be safe. Have a good night.
Miss Green, come let's have a little longer chat now. This is Gav Christopher from No Borders here. How are you feeling about today? Now you have just completed. Tell us where you went.
We went through Valencia, Synopsis, Valencia, San Grande, up to the side and back.
Right. And how is it on the ground? I mean, I'm a stranger up here, and my little personal trot, within the campaign, and it feeling good, it looking good. How you really feeling in terms of we still have about 2 weeks again to go? How it looking?
Well, since I've started this race, I was already sure that we were going to win. And it's an ecstatic feeling, it's almost ineffable. But we know that we have a lot of work to do. We can't take it for granted. But we are willing to do it. We're capable, we have the resources necessary. We're bringing it home.
Now, in the local election, there was a slight improvement because you remember the PNM had retained the corporation because of their voting, the casting vote of Terry Rondon then. But in the last election of December 2nd, there was a shift. It is no longer 4-4, but there is now 5-3.
Yes.
So there was that shift there. How do you think your campaign can create a bigger shift?
Of course.
A major shift to bring that victory for you?
Of course. That was a hint that Toko Sangigandi, they are fed up of the constant misrepresentation. They deserve better and they are aware of it, especially millennials now, they are much wiser. And they got sick of the constant mamagism before election and then nothing else until next election. So that was a sign that Toko Sangigandi, we are awakened now, we know what we deserve, and we should know now that we're bringing it home because as a result of that, women and children and young boys especially, there's nothing clear. I mean, yeah, they might have been in governance for 54 years in total. And during that time, it's repeated that nothing happens here. So this is us, and I speak with a youthful voice, despite I'm looking tired now. I've been working hard since elected. But this is the youths especially crying out and saying enough is enough. So yeah.
So you in touch with the young people?
Of course. And that's why I got involved. That is why I got involved, because I was never a person to be at the forefront. I sat at the sidelines and I would have watched my youths perish. I would have watched them in despair, I'd have watched them in hopelessness. And this is the reason why I got involved. I want to work. I cannot stand to see any longer these youths at the side of the road, on the block, in jail, dead. We could do way better than that.
So what's your skill sets in terms of well, you will let me know about the qualifications, but skill sets in terms of passion.
I think it's evident that I'm extremely passionate about this. I put everything to be involved in this. And that is because I am extremely passionate to create change. And I want to be the change that I want to see. And if each one, then definitely we'll have that change.
And what kind of priority projects you have in mind for this constituency of Toko Sangigandi?
So we want to develop infrastructure.
Because I realize there's a lot of land.
Yes. So we can create our own agriculture system here. And we have to have access roads to those persons involved in agriculture. We have a lot of fishing that goes on to them that have been defeated. Roads, the repair, drainage. I mean, I could go on all night. So all the time has been neglected. So there's a lot of work.
And the young people, what is their foremost need?
And a lot of young people as well, they are extremely good at sports. So luckily my sister Shafanda, we would have been one to come out, Samantha Wallace, Kishan Walcott. We have a few that would have been able to succeed. But that's a small bit of the amount of sporting talents we have here. So you'll hear them campaign, we have no resources to really push out our skill set at sports. So education, employment, sporting facilities, three main things I want to target this with.
I mean, I now see for myself why the PNM is attacking you so dread. I mean, you're very articulate, you're very smart, you know exactly where you're going, you seem to have a vision. What do you think of these vile attacks of the PNM?
Well, and this is why I could not be involved in the Red and Ready policy, is because the gutter politics they usually get themselves involved in, and they target at women especially because they think of us as a lesser group. But I am willing to stand as a representation for what a woman is. A woman represents strength and resilience, and that's who I am. So when I got into this, I know the local will come with attacks, and usually the attack is to get some weak source, leak some videos of internal stuff or what would have happened in a bedroom. But I mean, that is so cynical and so poor on the other side. And we as women need to man together and be a voice to one another, because there are a lot of women struggling. A lot of women are victims of abuse, whether it's physical abuse, sexual abuse, cyberbullying, whatever it may be. And this is why I'm here. You see, the attacks that they show is not enough to break me. To to not be willing to stand for my constituency. It won't be enough. Whatever they come with, whatever they plan to come with. Because I saw some persons saying there's more, and when we release the trade bar, that will never happen. I represent Brazilians, and I know that Tunapuna belongs to the United National Congress, so I'm completely unbothered for lack of better words.
I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you.
The first time I met you, I'm impressed. I'm very impressed.
A lot of persons in my constituency feel the same way.
Thank you very much.
No problem, sir.
Nice.
Good night.
Very, very, very impressed. Yeah, good enough.
You will take it.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Nabila Green. I mean, it's the first time I've spoken with her. She is brilliant, very articulate, very focused. And trust me, ladies and gentlemen, the PNM is scared of this young lady because of how solid she is. I mean, Kamala Persad-Bissessar knows exactly what she's doing, and she is so correct to stand behind this young lady's candidacy. Listen, nah boy, Toko Sandigrandi has to vote for this lady, boy. She's very, very solid. Very, very solid. Let me see if I can talk to an old veteran politician here. The boss himself.
No, I'm not the boss. I'm not the boss. The boss is Nabila Green.
Don't worry.
She is the person we are pushing to ensure.
We know that.
The PNM has brought a fraudster, a man who admitted to using an expired power of attorney to withdraw monies from an account for which he had no right to do. He himself admitted that. We cannot in Sanigrani put in Parliament a man whom the police is investigating for fraudulent activity. We have a young, bright, intelligent, articulate young lady in Nabila Green. She has a first degree in restorative justice. She's pursuing a master's. She can speak for us in Toko Sanigrani, not a fraudster.
Well, thank you very much. Short and sweet. A former minister of national security. I think he was Joseph Tony. He was actually in the parliament on his feet speaking when Abu Bakr and this.
Oh, that's him.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah, buddy. You wanna come on here? All right. Goodness, man. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are live here. We're still live. We're gonna cut off now. I want to thank you very much for staying on the live. As you know, we just on the motorcade of Miss Nabila Green, the candidate, the UNC candidate for Toko Sandigrandi. It's the very first time I've met the young lady and I've spoken to her, and trust me, I am totally impressed. And Kamala Persad-Bissessar and the UNC screening committee must be commended for their great choice of candidate for this marginal constituency and this very, very important rural district of Trinidad and Tobago. It's just great, and I expect great things. She will make a phenomenal member of parliament, and that is very good. Let me just see if I can get a little chat here with the Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
How are you tonight? Listen, I must say something before I start asking you some questions. I must compliment you as the chairman and part of the UNC screening committee for selecting such a solid, intelligent, articulate young woman to represent this constituency. I compliment you, Mr. Chairman, our political leader, and the entire screening committee. First time I've spoken to her, and I'm impressed. And you don't impress me so easily. So, Mr. Chairman, tell me about your candidate.
Well, this candidate is one of the youngest candidates in this election. This is, as you have said, this is a very bright, articulate young lady. She's a highly qualified young lady. She's highly motivated because she is a native of the Coco Sandy Grande soil. As you know, she born and grew up in Grand Riviere on the coast, and she is very committed to this constituency and the people in this Coco Sandy Grande region. Of course, all of the candidates that were selected by the United National Congress are brilliant candidates, whether they are the young ones or the not so young ones, the experienced ones. We have a brilliant team of candidates to rescue Trinidad and Tobago and take this nation forward to higher heights.
You had a nice motorcade. I mean, it was big.
Big motorcade.
It was big.
Motorcade, yeah.
It was good. Big.
It was a very good motorcade. The candidate would have gone through strategic areas of this constituency so that the voters here could see the candidate firsthand, meet the candidate. The motorcade, we had a little rain in the early part of it, but no one was allowing the rain to affect this motorcade. And the work has been going on in this constituency even before the election was called, even before the candidate was brought into the camp. The work has been going on. And now the candidate is here. The election is called. They have 14 days to go. We are working assiduously to make sure that Coco Sandy Grande returns to the fold of the United National Congress as we return to government to really allow Condoleezza Rice as our next Prime Minister to take Trinidad and Tobago into a better place, to lift the level and the quality of life of all Trinidadians.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I'm telling you, it's a little while I haven't come up here, and first time I'm coming up in the campaign on the ground, and as I feel, I'm on how the ground is, and I'm feeling it's coming towards and leaning towards and flowing towards it.
Today on this motorcade is the balance of young people.
Oh yes, definitely.
75% of the people here.
Definitely.
And young people, and you see they identify with this candidate.
Yes.
She's young, she's from here. When we go up on the coast and other parts of the constituency, we meet people who, let's say, the Queen, remember me, I went to school with her.
Right.
Right. So she's making that connection. And once this keeps going the way it's going, Coco Sandy Grande, she will bring Coco Sandy Grande into the field of the United Nations.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and I'm going to close off the live now with this interview of our great chairman, Mr. Peter Kanhai. Thank you very much again, sir. Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, this is Garth Christopher of No Borders. Garth Christopher of No Borders, and we are here live in the constituency of Coco Sandy Grande, where we participated in the motorcade of Miss Nabila Green, and it's good vibes out here. Let me just take there some nice corn soup. So, how the corn soup tasting? This is our office here, and as the chairman said, there's a lot of young people. Hi, how you doing? Participating in it. So let me just show you, it had it was nice. A lot of people outside. just like to show you what's going on here. Hi, how you doing? People all here, young people, all outsiders people. Hey, where's somebody? All outside. Boy, what's up? People all outside all here. It's nice. Alright. So, Garth Christopher of No Borders in Toko Sandy Grande, Nabila Green's Motorcade. Thank you very much for staying tuned, and I'll see you next time. Well, you know tomorrow, please God, is Michelle Benjamin. The political leader will be there, I believe. So, you might just see us up there. So stay tuned to No Borders, okay? Garth Christopher, I'm out.
My name is David Nakhid, and I'm the UNC candidate for MP for Tunapuna. And it has been a fantastic experience until now. And we look forward every day to improving the lives of the people of our constituency. One of the things that I find tremendous joy in is walking through the constituency and getting to know the people across the political divide, whether they be for any party. I like to hear their concerns.
My name is Donnie Goodrich. I'm from the constituency of Tunapuna. It has been 19 days. Our Tunapuna candidate, Mr. David Nakhid, has been on the ground, touching the lives of our immigrant-led residents. Come out and put your X by the rising sun.
Kamla Prasad Bisesa issued an instruction to all United National Congress warriors, including the Douglas. Prepare to serve the people, suspend the political campaign, and prepare for Gonzalo. That's what we did. The United National Congress warriors across Trinidad were ready to serve anyone who was affected by Gonzalo. But Gonzalo got a memo like Maduro, like Delcy, like Wilmer Ruperti, like Prapegura, like PDVSA, that Kamla don't play. She's not playing with any sanction. She's not playing with sanction jets. There will be no meeting face to face with sanctioned individuals and people on indictment for narco-terrorism, money laundering, corruption and drug trafficking. Kamla Prasad Bisesa shall bring respectability back to Trinidad and Tobago, lift the confidence level of the United States of America, our #1 trading partner. Dogra politics. We move into the critical seat of Tunapuna, where national captain David Nakhid has taken the ball, dribbled about 23 men, and is moving towards the goal to score a victory for the United National Congress in Tunapuna. David Nakhid, goal! Go, 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 goal! Dogra politics from Tunapuna, 7:29 p.m. Sunday, 7:29 p.m. Douglas Politics, David Nakhid.
I'm a soda warrior. I say win or lose. Listen, take some education. Listen, come on. Look back up your valleys there. Them have to go. Just now is election, we bringing back UNC.
Anil is back to deal with the PNM. And to you on the radio, and to you watching on TV, do not adjust your dial. It is Anil you're seeing right here, live and direct. Never went anywhere. Because the Douglas can talk either way. Because the Douglas can talk either way.
Good evening and welcome to Douglas Politics in Tunapuna, where the next member of parliament for Tunapuna The Honorable David Nakhid is in the building relaxing. They went on a walkabout. Love and respect throughout Tunapuna. And right now, they clear by 9 points clear. Esman, you need a Ford to drive to catch up to David, and he just running, jogging away from you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you would have seen a poll printed in the Guardian today. And the Guardian newspaper, it basically said that the PNM is leading by a little oomph over the United National Congress, and it went into details. Let me first of all tell you that whatever poll results I get as a coach, I take it straight off first. So they say PNM in the lead, I taking that and I'm working harder. So all my UNC people, my family, all of Toko Sangre Grande, Tunapuna, Lopino Bonner, La Hoqueta Talparo, down in St. Joseph, Barataria, Sando West, across down in Labre, Point 14, Mayaro, I want all you work harder. As a coach, I say I'm taking it verbatim. They say PNM in front of me, I come in to pass you. Okay. Secondly, let me say that the poll was done by Louis Bertrand, a big company, an official company, a good pollster, and I have respect for HHB, and I respect their polling work. Okay. Now, after saying that, I now have to analyze the results as a political analyst and a politician and a man on the ground and a man who understands the politics and live the politics. So let's analyze the poll in a variety of ways. First and foremost, it was a national poll. Now, anybody in politics would understand that a national poll in Trinidad and Tobago is totally irrelevant because we have the first past the post system, and we're not voting like the USA for a massive vote, and even the USA has the electoral college. So we don't have an overall national vote to see who will be prime minister. We have a first past the post system in which there are between 8 and 10 seats of interest. 8 may be considered marginal, and some others are coming to become marginal because Rowley is so pathetic, so terrible, the worst prime minister in the history of the Caribbean, that seats that were formerly safe PNM seats are now jumping up with yellow all over them. So a national poll is really irrelevant. So I'm not sure why the Guardian will want to print a national poll. Next point. The sample size was 600. Now, those of you who understand science of polling and so on, 600 is a very small sample size. And the reason why you don't really want a small sample size is that anytime you dip in the bag, it could be influenced if the people that you select somehow lean left or right, lean red or yellow. If you dip your hand in a bag of sweeties, you have some red and some yellow. If you dip and you get 10 red and 5 yellow, with a small sample size, your whole poll will become skewed. So the 600 sample size was rather small, and they said that the margin of error 4 plus 4 or minus 4 does not go that sample size. I would say that with such a small sample size on a national scale and a voting population of 1,010,000 people, that margin of error is probably about 7 or 8 plus or minus. So really and truly, when you look at it, the poll is saying that PNM and UNC in a statistical national dead heat, whatever that means, okay? But I'm just reading the numbers. Now, there's 16% that the poll said are undecided. At this point, with 14 days to go, in any election in any country across the globe, the larger proportion of that 16% goes towards change. Because normally you would understand that the incumbent, people know what they have, they know what they get, they are very familiar with the people who are in charge, and so there's no secret, there's no change, there's no wind of change blowing. So their votes would already, whoever going to vote for that silliness will already have decided. Now, when you are looking at a poll, and I like Louis Bertrand for that, because you have to look for what you call an anchor question. What is an anchor question? An anchor question to me is a question that you really know the answer to. So that either it's been polled a lot by different elements, different TV stations, unofficial, unscientific polls, but the general perception is that you have a good understanding of where that question is. An anchor question may be, for example, do you feel safe? No. we would know that the answer to that will be somewhere about 80% of the people do not feel safe. Okay? So what does that mean? That means that 20% of the people say they feel safe. So that will tell you that 20% of PNM fanatics, no matter what, they find it safe. So them murder happen right by the doorstep, whatever them is PNM and Balize, and them 20% going to say it's safe, Rowley good, border open, it don't matter. That's how you analyze it. So that is an anchor question. In this poll, there was a key question that I utilized as an anchor question. Why do I want an anchor question? I want to get a little bit of an insight on the 600 pool that you had. What sort of pool? How much yellow you had in it? How much red you had in the pool? And how much blue? How much independent? How much undecided? What was the mix? I want to feel. And an anchor question will give me that weighting and that skewing of your sample. Now, keep in mind, I'm not saying, and I will never say, that the sample in this case under professional like Louis Bertrand was skewed on purpose. There are other fellows who do that. Not Louis Bertrand and them, very official. But there was a key area, and it was here on the first page. How has the country, I'm going to ask you all this first, so that you will see what I'm talking about. I'm going to ask you all of y'all who didn't answer no survey. How has the country fared over the past 5 years? In other words, are you better off today than you were in September of 2015? Answer the question for yourself. Answer it. Were you better off? Are you better off today than you were in September 2015? Now that all of you share the live, please, so we get more thousands going. Now, I will suggest to you that we know the answer to that question. The answer to that question is approximately 80% of people would say no, we are not better off, because many people have lost jobs, the economy has shattered, oil and gas went down, Rowley and Imber taxed everybody, they took away the fuel subsidy so you had to pay more for gas, they put back VAT on 7,000 items that Kamala took it off, so your budget, your money, you lost your ability to buy things, you didn't feel so safe because Stuart Young break record 500 and 500 year after year. So generally, we know the answer to that question is 80% of people do not feel better than 5 years ago, including PNM people. You have to understand, 80% who just say, well, boy, things hard. Now, PNM people might obfuscate and say, well, oh God, things was hard. Kamala and them thief the money. Never mind Rowley and them say, look at cash that Kamala leave in 2014. Ooh, look at that cash. I didn't know when you just thief cash does grow, right? But that is what they may say. They may say, boy, Rowley had it difficult because the oil and gas prices went down, and so on and so forth. But they will agree that they're not faring better now than 5 years ago. So that 80% will be made up of PNM people, some UNC people, some independent people, some people who don't care to vote. But we understand that 8 out of 10 would say safely, fairly, that things ain't so good now, that we were better off 5 years ago. That is a given. So that's a standard. So when we look now at this poll here, at this poll, because we're going to check and see what sort of sample, how the sample was weighted, how much you dip in the bag and how much red you pull out and how much yellow you pull out, just by fluke. Well, in this sample size of 600, 52% of the people in this poll said they are either better off or the same as 2015. Follow me carefully. 52% said they are either 24% said better off than 2015 and 28% said the same. Now, what does that tell you based on our anchor question? It tells you that that figure should have been around 20%, but it's 52%. Why is that? It means that when they dip in the bag, Bertrand and dip in the bag, they pull out plenty red in the 600. So when you look at that now and you see, well, in the 600 it weighted to the red, you now have to go and it's weighted by approximately 32 points. Because we said the fair thing will be 20% of the people who are fanatical would say, yes, man, Rowley did great. Never mind everybody suffering. Never mind they still had inflation. Never mind 103,000 jobs lost. Never mind road was bad. Never mind hospital bad. Never mind petroleum shut down. Never mind all of that. Never mind crime. Never mind Venezuela. Never mind porous border. Never mind none of that. They still will have a 20% of PNM who drink Balize juice from morning, noon, and night who would say, hey boy, Rowley did great. That's okay. That's their right. However, for this poll, the number is skewed. Because you cannot tell me that there are 52% of you out there who feel that we either the same as 2015 or we better off. That's not possible. Because if it's 52%, that means that you have UNC people who say we better off. I can guarantee you, there is not one supporter of the UNC who going to vote UNC out of the 400,000 people who going to vote UNC who feel that we better off than 2015. Not one. I can tell you that out of the independent people and undecideds who don't like UNC and don't like PNM, not one is going to say they're better off today than 2015. So it shows, unfortunately for Louis Bertrand, that when he took a sample, it came out weighted red, yellow. So what do we do now? We take that weight, which is 32 points. We take away the margin of error, which I believe is plus or minus 8, not 4 like what he said, because the sample size is small. And then we go into each of the questions now, understanding the skew of the sample. And when you see that, you will see by the Louis Bertrand poll, printed in The Guardian, that the UNC is gone clear. When I tell you clear, clear with a wave that this poll make me do a dance home when I analyze it this morning. I take 2 hours and went through it in detail, and I danced to Tassa, not like Rowley play, because that I couldn't dance to that. That was out of rhythm, right? And I danced, because when you check it, and I'm waiting for other polls and you will see it, it shows that the UNC is up by a clear 24 percentage points. Why? How so big? Because it's the first time in history we are seeing a one-on-one fight. Sorry, third force. It's not third force. It's that third. Beep, 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 beep. Little beep, 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 beep. All right, I tell all you, stay out. It's Kamala versus Rowley. Now, the final thing you have to analyze when you are analyzing a poll, you have to also show who pay for the poll. Guardian Media Limited. Now let's think. Guardian Media, Answer McCall. Them did good under Rowley. Them make 1.6044 billion pre-tax profit and thing in a quarter. Well, mash up the place. Them love Rowley. Them own Guardian Media Limited. They pay for the poll. So you put that there and you say, all right. Because then, when they get the poll, who is going to edit the poll? Because you'd see certain headlines. You may get the scientific data from HHB, Louis Bertrand, but the editor and so on will put headlines to throw the perception of the population. And that is Guardian Media Limited editor, who's not friendly to the UNC. And just to prove it to y'all, if they weren't friendly before, and y'all thought, Anil, oh gosh, boy, you're finicky. You only give us about 800 examples of the Guardian obfuscating, shutting down stories, protecting Rowley, putting editorial positions that leave out salient facts and so on. Anil, you have shown us that they are biased. Well, let me continue to show y'all that they're biased now. Winford James. Didn't we put a PNM stamp on Douglas politics right on the forehead? Bam! Didn't we? Out of 50 columns, I tell all I read. 48 from Winford James is PNM, Rowley, and Rice. I tell all that long time. All you know that? He wrote 2. He wrote one that was kind of sensible, and it wasn't a pro-Kamala or nothing. It was just the truth. And the PNM started calling him a UNC, all kind of thing. One column, you know. Well, let me just tell you all. He used to write in the Express. Winford, PNM James. You know where he write today? In the Guardian. Look his column here. The Guardian gone more PNM with Winford James. And if all you feel, I done there, Archie, throw up a picture Show me how the Guardian gone total PNM now. They're not even pretending. Look who take over from him. Pop the picture, big man. Forget the Douglas. Don't mind how when David Nakhid jersey. Block me, swell it up. Look what they gonna do on the morning brew. Oh Lord, they find a Jamaican PNM from 95.5 who hate Kamala, hate Anil, hate UNC, only PNM. I don't know where she get Balize in Jamaica from to drink with she blue coffee. Them gone total PNM. So I now tell all your UNC people, because you see me, I'm fed up now. I'm fed up because you see, they don't want to be fair, they don't want to be impartial, they don't want to write about Delcy, PDVSA, Wilmer Rupetti, Newman George, sanctions, USA, Roger, Trafigura, PTE, that could put our entire country in jeopardy, and US sanctions, and them don't want to write about it. Now they're going and find a PNM lady from a PNM station, or anyone all you and see what CNC3, don't study the Douglas Vex. You hearing me? We right now, fire burn GML. They gone total PNM, let PNM alone watch them. Anybody from UNC who supporting Kamala and voting Kamala and want jobs and want sport and want David Nakhid and want Dong in Maruga and want Trinidad and Tobago to move forward, we not watching no GML, no Guardian, don't buy it and don't watch no CNC3 because they cussing we. They showing we they don't care. We don't know him I was PNM, but she used to pretend. She used to pretend a little bit, hey, Anil Douglas, all right. A little kind of pretense. But we know she's a PNM. But now, they gone with this Jamaican girl who had nothing good to say about Kamala or anything in yellow. She don't, when she go and buy insecticide, she don't buy BOP. Because BOP does come in yellow. She does buy Protox and Baygon and think of that are red. Them gone and push she for the morning brew. Well, let PNM drink that brew alone. The Douglas telling all supporters of the United National Congress, forget that. Go and watch Stephen Reese, independent on Synergy TV, and listen to the ground report, listen to things that make sense on 104.7. Fire burn CNC3 now. I had to go through that analysis for you all, so now you all understand. So in summing up, I want to thank Louis Bertrand for that poll. A national poll, not very useful, but for me, reading numbers and seeing the statistics, I can gather information from anything. I want to thank you because I thought I understood that something, remember I keep telling all you, I feel something on the ground in Labre. And all you say, boy, Anil, you have to be a madman, boy. Labre only went against PNM in 1986. How you could talk that, Anil? That is a PNM nest. And then I went down by Obika in Point 14 and I walk and I talk and I see and I feel the young people and I feel Afro Trinbagonian, Indian Trinbagonian, Douglas Trinbagonian, all kind of Trinbagonian in yellow, wanting yellow. And I tell all you I'm feeling something. Well, Louis Bertrand poll today show me that I'm right. Because Kamala gone 24 points clear. 24 points clear, brings all kind of seats into play, seats that we didn't think about, seats that we didn't think we could win. It could be a blowout of epic proportions. So understand that. Louis Bertrand, thank you. You're trying to tell me that in your poll of 600, 52% of the people think that they're better off than 2015? Son, we live here, man. You should have do a next poll. God bless you. We coming back. We in Tunapuna. David Nakhid in the house. All you make some noise here. We in Tunapuna. Kamala, UNC. We coming back.
August 10th, 2020 is an election like no other. And you need a team like no other. Hunt, Haynes, Ram, Badarat, Nakhid. Or Tanku, Lee, Rambali, Garner, Lakis, Zakuru, Singh, Baird, Charles, Amin, Bodo, Charles, Walker, Munilal, Hussein, Hoyt, Benjamin, Ragbir, Ratiram, Stowe, Andrews, Indar Singh, Parry, Green, Sobers, Mohit, Obika, Roberts, Williams, David, John. Vote for the candidate and a leader you can trust. Kamala Prasad Bisesa.
Election day when you stay in your hand, it's for the UNC and the rising sun.
What time it is? What time it is?
The United National Congress. Why wait? Now is the...
Well, in Tunapuna, what we gonna say? It have all kind of bacchanal going on. Listen to me now. I want you to listen very carefully. For the few people, there are about 8 people in Trinidad and Tobago of voting age who do not know yet that Rowley is a complete stranger to the truth. So I'm only talking to those 8 people out of the 1,010,250 eligible voters. The last 8 who have not realized that Rowley is a stranger to the truth, who didn't realize that gravel rolled from by a hospital to somewhere by he, who didn't realize he built a sheep farm without CEC approval, who didn't realize it's only when Rahal's son come on a company with Woodgill, he gave them permission, ministerial approval to go up in the sky and increase the value of the land from 10 million to 850 million. Them ugly thing down in Shorelands. Who didn't know that Emailgate was a total fabrication, and the man continued to lie about Emailgate. The man who said Astrubal, I just discovered Astrubal Chavez, the man who opened the borders for Delcy to come in on a sanctioned jet to meet him face to face and tell you he know what she come to talk about. So though the few of you who still feel that he does talk the truth sometimes, are going and convince all you right now that that's it for Rowley. Keith Christopher Rowley said, and I quote in the Express, "The cost is too high to have election observers in Trinidad and Tobago. If election observers do not arrive in Trinidad and Tobago today, there would be no observers for August 10th general election." Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley said on Friday night that Commonwealth observers will not be coming. Rowley said he is not worried if observers are not able to attend, as the country is not a banana republic. No, we are not a banana republic, but we have an idiot as Prime Minister, and we have a man who put a minister and an MP niece in charge of EBC, and we have a Tobago election with only 5,000 little votes that took 48 hours to count. So we are not a banana republic, but we don't trust you, boy. We don't trust you. So I don't know what you're talking about, the country. You is not the country. You is one bullet clung. So continue, Rowley said. The observers would be required to spend 14 days in quarantine. Questioned on the issue on Friday night at a Lime. Venezuelan coming in with COVID left, right, and center. Porous border from Icacas to Fullerton. Only one 4-wheel drive monitoring. No Coast Guard vessel because all you want to buy no diesel. No air guard because you want to buy no fuel for the plane. No helicopter because all you're too cheap to buy gas. Venezuelan coming in with COVID, without COVID, with rabies, with all kind of thing. And all you have no clue, but you gone to Lime. Look at the clown with that hat. And you find you looking cool? Eh? Look, boy. On Friday night, Rowley said Commonwealth had indicated they would not be able to attend because of the cost. So the Commonwealth Secretariat said observers will not be able to attend because it's too expensive and they don't have the money. Okay. Rowley said there would have been significant cost to quarantine the delegation in hotel for 2 weeks. Rowley added there are currently no commercial flights operating due to the closure of the country's borders, and as a result, the delegation would have difficulty getting into Trinidad and Tobago. Let's deal with that bag of lies one by one. Just for the 8 of y'all, you know. Just for the 8 of y'all who still think that man, let's talk the truth a little bit. Right here, and you could flash it up, Archie. I have in my hands the Commonwealth Secretariat, the revised Commonwealth guidelines for the conduct of election observers. Well, Archie, that is what our Prime Minister, who will be Prime Minister on August 11th, said about the observers. But right here, I have this official document from the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, London 2018. It's the revised Commonwealth guidelines for conduct of election observation in member countries. Okay? This is the official document of the Commonwealth signed off at the Commonwealth Heads of Government where Rowley went in. Right? And he ain't know this. So he don't pay attention in no meeting. Because 2018, as I could remember, he's the Prime Minister. He went Commonwealth Heads of Government. This was signed off and approved when he was Prime Minister. So hear this now. Section 2 of the revised Commonwealth Guidelines for Conduct of Election Observation in Member Countries states 2.1. Commonwealth election observation is only considered with the written invitation or welcome of a government or the election management body. Such an invitation needs to be timely, right? And the Commonwealth Secretariat will respond in writing. Rowley, was your request in writing and was it timely? Please provide us with that letter because it should be officially easy from the Office of the Prime Minister, signed, date, just give the media. Secondly, 2.2, a Secretariat pre-election assessment team is usually deployed some 2 to 3 months in advance. You hear the problem? Rowley said 2 weeks will be too expensive for them. Them don't spend 2 weeks when they come in to observe elections. Let me read again for you. They deploy, a pre-election assessment team is deployed some 2 to 3 months in advance. So them don't have budget for 2 to 3 months for their team to be on the ground staying in hotel. Rowley say, well, 2 weeks would be too expensive for them. I don't understand the mathematics. And this is a pre-election team. Then they send a bigger team for the 3 weeks or 4 weeks before the election and 1 week after. So they set up a pre-team for 3 months. And they pay the bill, they pay the food, they pay the stipend, they pay the plane ticket. So they have no problem with the money. That is not the worst part for Rowley yet, you know. I now go to 8. Section 8 of the Commonwealth Election Observation Guidelines agreed to by the Commonwealth Heads of Government 2018. Section 8 deals with financial. I'm going to read this very slowly because sometimes I talk too loudly and people do not hear. So for the 8 of you who still feel that Rowley does tell the truth even 1 out of 1,000 times, I am now going to debunk that, and you all would realize that you all need to get him out of that office as soon as possible. Section 8.1, the Commonwealth remains committed to funding its own election observation, recognizing its work in this field as a core activity in promoting Commonwealth values and principles. Should I read that again for you? Yes. The Commonwealth remains committed to funding its own election observation, recognizing its work in this field as a core activity in promoting Commonwealth values and principles. The Commonwealth don't ask nobody about nothing about no money. Them have their own money. Them have their own funding. Their normal process is to send a pre-team 2 to 3 months before. Then send a bigger team 3 weeks before. And all of that already budgeted. Them have their funds in pounds. So what is Rowley talking about? They couldn't come because they couldn't fund and they didn't have money and Rowley didn't want to pay for it. Who asked you to pay for anything? Please provide the country with the letter from the Commonwealth Secretariat asking you and your government to find money for them. Please provide us with that. That is like providing us with the email some email get to. Provide us with that too now. When you buy about it. Then provide us with that. And provide us with the COVID information from your Delcy Astrobal Chavez visit in your office in your face. Provide us with that. It has finished here. 8.2. The costs of each observer mission are covered by the Secretariat. The costs of each observer mission are covered by the Secretariat. No funds are sought from the host member country. Oh God, I'm sorry, but it is so ridiculous. If this was my 5-year-old daughter, she would have get punished. I would have taken away she tablet. I would have taken away she phone. She wouldn't be able to watch no cartoon, don't read no book, and go and sleep. Wake up, eat, and go back and sleep. This is the Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Let me read that again for all you know. The costs of each observer mission are covered by the Secretariat. No funds are sought from the host member country being observed. In accordance with international transparency standards, information on funding of the Commonwealth Secretariat observation groups will be published consistent with Commonwealth governance procedures and provided upon request to a member country. This was signed in the United Kingdom, 20th April 2018. I ain't done there, you know. Because Rowley didn't tell you one lie and done, you know. When a man is pathological, he had to go and embellish the lie now. Do you all think I can show you all that he embellished on it, or you all feel the Douglas lie? He just don't like Rowley. I just making up this stuff on Rowley? Okay, let me read from the Daily Express now. The Daily Express today. Rowley previously indicated he had sent letters to CARICOM Secretary General Erwin LaRocque and Commonwealth Secretary General Patricia Scotland, formally inviting them to observe us to TNT. But with COVID-19 restrictions in place, the observers would be required to spend 14 days in quarantine upon arrival. This means the latest they could arrive is today to be out of quarantine in time for the polls on August 10th. Here's the problem with that now. Because the Douglas held this article in the Guardian about CPL. This article is from Wednesday, July 22nd. Right? And this is the discussion about the CPL agrees to Trinidad and Tobago's COVID-19 restrictions. So Rowley dig down now, so on top of lying about who to pay and so on, because the Commonwealth does pay its own thing and could pay, he then said, well, the COVID, the quarantine, even now, it's too late because 14 days, they wouldn't be here in time and it wouldn't have enough time. Well, let's read what Rowley and his government agreed to do with CPL. All you feel the Douglas make this up. I ain't making it up. Go and check. I tell you all in the article. Guardian, Wednesday, July 22nd, page 46 sports. CPL agrees with TNT's COVID-19 restrictions. Parasam said they will be arriving in the country very soon to start putting things in place. So they're opening the borders for foreigners to come in, right? So PNM opening the borders for foreigners to come in, right? Then they will be sent into self-isolation at the Hilton Hotel for 7 days. On day 7, they will be tested, and once negative, they will be allowed to join other players in small groups to train for the tournament. So if CPL, you all change the WHO, the PAHO, the CMO, the MOH guidelines. For CPL, all you say now, they go come past 7, we go with them 2 swab, and they could proceed. So why the observers can't get 7 and 2 swab? You don't want observers? You want cricket? You want to open the borders? You want to pay $1 million US to get nothing? Huh? You see, when you're lying so much, you forget what all you say. But the Douglas keep everything all you say. It's very difficult. But somebody had to do it. So, you still have time, Rowley. 1, you lie. Them could pay their own thing. 2, you done say, you done create the president, Ministry of Health, CMO, president for CPL, 7 days. Well, observers from Commonwealth, 7 days. A swab and then proceed. They will have 7 days to be here before August 10th. They'll be out and about based on your rules. Or it's just rules for them and not for them. Why? You don't want observers? Because you put the niece of a sitting member of parliament and a parliamentary secretary in the Ministry of Public Administration as the head of the EBC, and all the country, all the media say, that's good, that's great job, man. That's fair. So why you didn't put my flipping niece there? Eh? You understand? You feel my niece go love me more than that ballhead Rowley? She love this ballhead more than that ballhead. So if you want to tell me that Coffee niece don't love PNM more than UNC, well then you have to sell me some. I believe that the Commonwealth didn't have no money to come either. And I believe Emailgate was good and that them fellas went up in the sky just on their own without Rowley permission. And that no gravel roll from no hospital by nowhere by Rowley. I believe all of that. I ain't done there yet, you know. All you feel I done. Nope. It gets worse. Let me continue. Rowley continued. I tell you, when this man sat alive, he just dig deeper. And at the deeper you go, it's like quicksand. Rowley added, there are currently no commercial flights operating due to the closure of the country's borders. And as a result, the delegation would have difficulty getting to TNT. A Commonwealth delegation, Commonwealth Secretariat, will have difficulty in getting a flight to Trinidad and Tobago. Are you serious? Derek Chin come on a jet. All kind of people come. Look, Penny come on a jet. Penny have more resources than the Commonwealth. It's Penny. Commonwealth have pounds. Them have pence. Furthermore, you let Delcy open the border for Delcy jet. You ain't going to open my border for the Observer's jet. You wouldn't make it accessible. If push come to shove, you wouldn't let them pay for Caribbean Airlines to bring them? Rowley, man. Sound like you don't want observers. Why is that, boy, Rowley? Rowley said the government could not take it upon itself to bring the team to Trinidad and Tobago because it could be considered a conflict of interest. You cannot bring no team to Trinidad and Tobago. The Commonwealth Secretariat guidelines and rules do not allow you to pay, to even attempt to pay, or to ask to pay. It's not on, son. Because if the team does a report and it's favorable, you will have people say, this man concoct a story about pain, which does not exist as I read for you, and now telling you what would happen when something that couldn't happen, and what we will say when that thing that couldn't happen, and it happen. You understand what that man say? He say, because if the team does a report and it is favorable, you will have people saying, well, the government paid for the team and the government put them in a hotel, so we're not doing that. You're not doing that because you cannot do that because it's not on. It's not on. It's not allowed. You cannot do it. They would not ask you to do it. They do not require you to do it. And if they did, show me the letter, Rowley. Show me the letter. All you feel are done there? The man went deeper again. I don't go in my phone now. The man now went, Rowley went and made a statement now. Here Rowley's statement, right? Today, Keith Christopher Rowley. In the event that any alternative arrangement for travel becomes available, such requests will be subject to conditions laid down by the Chief Medical Officer in the most facilitatory and safe way. The government of Trinidad and Tobago continues to persevere in the attempt to secure the necessary resources and modalities to encourage the arrival of at least one election observation mission. At this time, it appears that only a CARICOM mission might be available if health protocols can be met. So he is saying now that he trying to find business people and things to pay for the Commonwealth mission. When it's not on, nobody could have asked that. Nobody could have said that. They don't want no money. They don't want no sponsor. Them have their own money. That man gone on 3 days and digging himself deeper and deeper. I hope I have convinced the last 8 citizens who believe that that man has actually might talk the truth. If that man tell you he had doubles for breakfast, know that he had bacon and eggs. If that man tell you he went to sleep in the palace, know that somewhere else he rests here. If that man tell you to vote for the PNM because it's the best, vote Kamala with a vengeance. We coming back.
August 10th, 2020 is an election like no other, and you need a team like no other. Hunt, Haynes, Ran, Badarat, Nakhid, or Tanku, Lee, Rambali, Garner, Lakis, Zakuru, Singh, Baird, Charles, Amin, Bodo, Charles, Walker, Munilal, Hussein, Hoyt, Benjamin, Radbeer, Ratiram, Stowe, Andrews, Indar Singh, Parry, Green, Sobers, Mohit, Obika, Roberts, Williams, David, John. Vote for the candidate and a leader you can trust. Kamla Prasad Bisesa.
Election day when you stay in your hand, it's for the UNC and the rising sun, 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 sun.
What time it is? What time it is?
The United National Congress. Why wait? Now is the time.
And welcome back to Douglas Politics. We in Tunapuna. David Nakhid, ready to take the seat in the parliament as the next member of parliament for Tunapuna. Tunapuna has been waiting for somebody with love, care, and passion to take care of them. Ford, I see you cry last week. Oh God, I try my best. Well, crime is not really my thing, and it's really Gary. They had some road with some hole. They started patch it. Oh gosh, well we try. Ford, just move now, boy. This work is for men who could work hard, who could get the results done, who will fight for people, not sit down there and cry. Rowley ain't give you a kobo sweat as a minister, nothing, boy, and you want to go back? Grow some cojones now, man. We come in, we bring in a man who not only have cojones, he does kick balls too. You understand? With both feet, left and right foot. Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, for the last 4 months, Rowley, Convent Girl Dial Singh, Small Pin Stuart Young, Faris Al Rawi, Ala Rental, Ala Tight Pants, all of them have been telling you all, oh my goodness, we have done so well in COVID. We are the best in COVID, and you all need to vote for us because of COVID. Forget the first 4 years and 8 months of our reign where we were totally incompetent. We did nothing. We collapsed the economy. People lost jobs, no road, no health. You couldn't even get Panadol in the hospital. Forget all of that. We did COVID. Well, I have been trying to tell you all for a long time that they've been mamagaying us, and we need to have a little bit more intelligence. We have to pay attention a little bit more, and we mustn't let people like a druggist like the Minister of Health who don't even have a pharmacology degree but jealous of the 3 doctors. He had Dr. Envy on his side. Every time he see Fuad, he's want to dip his head. Because these are surgeons, interns, these are brilliant men. Gopi Singh, resume, tick so. The amount of specialism. When you reach from specialty to specialism, you know you get bright. But this man selling is a pharmacist, and he ain't have a pharmacology degree. But he in charge of all your health. And telling you all that he did very good. The light on? Right. I'm looking bright. I don't mind looking black, you know. I'm a black man, boy. All you make me look darker, right? Proud black man, yes. So, now you all are realizing, as the information is coming out, that while our citizens are stranded outside, crying, going through mental health, getting depressed, no money, no food, being thrown out, people who have been outside there probably had a 2,000 US for 2 weeks, have to stay over 17 weeks outside there, no friends, no family, missing home, depressed, and has Stuart Smallpin Young, a clown that nobody know before 2014 when he meet Rowley in the biggest lie in the history of the Commonwealth. 2 liars. You could imagine them after email when he got to defend him in the parliament, in the privileges motion. Yeah, boy, Rowley, let me go and drink some scotch, yes. We rare lie down the place this morning, boy. Oh, God, boy, you lie? But I lie better than you. Knock glass, boy. Hey, bring drinks. That's how them would have been lying, man. And then they bring that clown and put him on top of all of our citizens for him to determine who could come in and who could stay out, who could get exemption and who would not. And you all find that's all right. And he did it with a kind of callousness, insensitivity, arrogance and staritis, and disrespect. But now we realize, while all of that is going on for our citizens, when Kamla Prasad Bisesa in early March told you all the country, I have been telling you all for 3 years that the borders are porous, that this fella called Stuart Young is playing games. He's going to meet with CEOs anywhere Rowley go. He all up in Rowley K-Pax. If he go Ghana, he had to go with Rowley. If he go Zimbabwe, he had to go with Rowley. If Rowley go China, he had to go with Rowley. If Rowley in Malta, he pop in this Malta. But not doing his job. Now you are seeing video evidence that Venezuelans are coming in all around Trinidad and Tobago from 141 different points with no mask, with no testing, with no swabs, with no PPE equipment, with nothing going on. Show a video then, show them as we hear.
This is the next one every single day, just in the country. Coming in by the 5 and 6 boat. Actually have 7, 8, 10, 12 people on the boat. They're not even wearing any gears, not even face masks. They're all over shagaramas coming in. Telling yourself, there's one there, just past another one. This is one fine distance, the third one for the day. This is one way out in the distance, all you could see. So as that one clear that corner there, you will see again. You'll ask yourself, how come these boats, this is one behind here. You'll ask them, how come these fishing vessels coming in by the 3 and 4 in Shagaramas every day, coming to sell fish knowing that the borders are over? If the borders are closed, why are they coming to the borders? Why are they coming to Trinidad waters to sell fish? So you be the judge of this. If the Minister of National Security said the borders are closed, how come this one fishing vessel I just showed you, one fine the distance around, this is Centipede Island, Shagaramas, right? And they've been constantly coming in and out of Shagaramas.
Thank you, Archie. Look at the hundreds of videos out there. And that's just Shagaramas. And that has been going on for the last 2 years. And since COVID, border shut down March 22nd, that has been going on. Venezuelan fishing vessels with 7 to 10 people on it. Every day, 15 to 20 of them coming in. And look, blow up them pictures. Blow up these pictures and they park up and look. I want you to look around and see. Blow it up big, Archie. Yes. And show the others one by one. This is Venezuelan park up right where eyes go and fish with my boy Ako and thing when we going to fish for kingfish and all the fishermen down there in Shagaramas. All you have to do when you park up there, show the next one, Archie. All you have to do is walk out and you hit the main road in Shagaramas. And when you blow up that, you're seeing Venezuelans sitting down bareback, no mask, no swab, no test, no health, Ministry of Health officials, no doctors, nothing. No security, no army, no nothing. But all you say the borders closed, the airport closed. But the whole country open. And you all telling me that they had no spread. For 17 weeks, we had nothing. We had 8 deaths for 4 months now. And all of a sudden, it started to spread like wildfire. Why? Because the PNM, Rowley, Small Pin cannot secure the borders. And this is just Shagaramas. Down the southwest coast, the whole southern coast, they have one 4x4 Jeep patrolling. Them Venezuelan laughing. They say, Caro. Bengaka, ahora. And they're rushing in so. No test, no swab, no tracing, no science. And you want to know what's going on? And now Stuart Young saying, oh, well, we have to investigate. And if your people have illegal immigrants, he start to blame the citizens. Start to blame the citizens. He cannot protect the border. And then you know what them say? Kamala say she opening the border. Kamala Prasad Bisesa never said that. She said she shall repatriate her citizens through the WHO, PAHO, CMO, Ministry of Health, protocols that people will sign their documents before getting on an exemption, come and go straight into mandatory quarantine in all the facilities and keep separate from the population, but they will be allowed to come home and quarantine. That's not an open border, that's a closed border. An open border is what's going on now with CPL, and now a totally porous border is what Rowley and them have. Every day for the last 4 years, I told you all that when I go fishing, all the vessels by Stobles Bay are parked up, the Coast Guard vessels, between 12 and 14 vessels. Because Rowley and Smallpin and them refuse to buy gas and diesel for the vessels. The Air Guard is shut down because they refuse to buy gas for the Air Guard. They say it's too expensive, but they buy 3 million in painting, 3 million for a golf course, 500 million for a Red House, 118 million for a President's House, 18 million for Rowley to line with a man on 27 charges in his 70th birthday in Tobago. They have money for that, but they don't have money to keep the Coast Guard out there to protect you and your family from deading from COVID. And they say that they are the best. I show you the science on the last Douglas politics. We are the worst in the whole world. We have tested nobody. How can you have any information without testing? Jamaican Foreign Affairs Minister Kamina Johnson-Smith says steps are being taken to organize a repatriation flight for 150 Jamaicans in Trinidad and Tobago, although the borders in the Twin Island Republic remain closed. So Jamaica repatriating, everybody repatriate. Do you know that Barbados had a population of 278,000 and them repatriate 21,000 citizens safely, quarantined, calmly, well managed? The Express now talking. The Express, after 5 years of attacking Kamala Persad-Bissessar and her government from 2010 to 2015, never giving her credit for all the great work. Now they realize Rowley and them is clung, and on the eve of an election, bolt the back door. As soon as the information began circulating about 2 confirmed cases of COVID-19 involving persons with no history of recent travel, public worry immediately turned to the southern coastline and the risk posed to the nation's health by illegal migrants. Surveillance and protection remain lax all around the southern coastline. Of the 140 identified illegal points of illegal entry to Trinidad, many are said to be concentrated along the southern coast. But Stuart Smallpin Young have 1 4x4 monitoring and patrolling that coast. On August 11th and 12th, as Kamala Persad-Bissessar swears in as Prime Minister, and she swears in her Minister of Defense and her Minister of National Security, there will be 20 to 30 vehicles 4x4 down there with full blaring spotlight, that in the night it will be like sun down there, so that nobody could come through. The army will be put down there on camp, the immigration, customs, everybody lock down the whole place, because that's how you keep people safe. While ineffective patrol of the southern coastline is a serious and long-standing problem which has served to undermine national security, it's now a serious and long-standing problem. 3 years ago when Kamala was talking about it, when David Lee was talking about it in Parliament, when Fuad Khan brought it up in Parliament, when Wade Mark brought it up in the Senate, when Anita Haynes talked about it 4 years ago, the porous borders, the Air Guard, the helicopters, the shutdown of the Coast Guard vessels with lack of diesel, Express, you all didn't print that this is a serious issue and needs to be addressed, because you're playing flipping games to get PNM advertisements. And this is the joke you all play with our country. I only read these newspapers because I have to do this show to educate my viewers. Share the live, please. But after I read this, I skip some because I had to check when that one going to lie next. I had to remember, right? But the rest of it, I have 8 dog, plenty poo-poo to pick up. It's paper after paper. Pick up, pick up. It is work good for that. That is what all your newspaper good for. They continue to. Here the Express editorial. Logic suggests that given the speed and ferocity with which coronavirus has been spreading through Latin America, the chances are of the virus slipping through our weak defenses are real. Slipping through. It walking through boldface. It walking up in the club and saying, hey, we ain't paying no head charge. We ain't paying no fee to come in. It's walking in. In the case of Venezuela, a lot of questions have been raised about the integrity of its data. In Trinidad and Tobago too, we have no data. Even so, however, the official figures put the number of cases in that country at just over 13,000. The entry of undocumented persons into our islands places the entire population at risk and undermines the investment made in protecting people and the economy from the virus and the fallout. Express now realize that Stuart Smallpin Young is the most incompetent Minister of National Security in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. Them now realize that. Thank you, Express. How much COVID come through, we don't even know. Did you all even research what are the normal respiratory and pulmonary deaths and asthma deaths in Trinidad and Tobago between January and April on a 10-year basis? What's the normal? What's the average? My research has said between 130 and 150 deaths. Do you know in 2020 what that was between January and April? 496. So where the other 330 come from? Or 350? Where it come from, Express? Where it come from, Guardian? Where it come from, CNC3? Oh, it come from Balize. All your Morning Brew. Any of my people watch Morning Brew. All your fall out with the Douglas, eh? Right. Young now orders investigation into Venezuelans docking at Chagaramas. He know. Oh God. They're docking about 2 years. In COVID, they're docking 4 months. 20 boats per day. 7 to 10 people. 200 Venezuelans per day. We don't know who come out that is going massive stores, who have COVID, who stay, who go, who come, who bring fish, what they bring in the fish. We don't know nothing. Young Stuart Smallpin Young now saying, Young orders investigation into Venezuelan docking in Chagaramas. 11 Venezuelans held in Santa Flora. Do you all see porous borders? You see, when I tell all you something, I back it up with facts and information. Me, I come here to talk no stupidness like what Rowley and them else open them out and lie down the place, you know. Them so incompetent, I don't need to fabricate on them. I don't need to lie on them. Them is the worst thing. Even PNM people should put on yellow on Monday and go and dip the finger quick and run out. Just dip it. They won't know. Just say, oh God, save the PNM and all. Vote out all. Even an investigation. Even as investigations are launched into social media profiles offering trips between Tacupipa in Venezuela and Trinidad, 11 illegal immigrants were yesterday held in Santa Flora. The 11 were held by the police. Well, thank God for the police. What happened to the Coast Guard? What happened to the immigration? What happened to customs? What happened to border control? Only thing I said, 11 in Santa Flora. 15 Venezuelans held in Trinidad. 18 held in Tobago. Police have arrested 18 Venezuelans caught entering Tobago illegally. So it's not only good them bringing COVID for we here. They gone Tobago, how we buy Tobago to give all your COVID? Oh God. Tobago done had Rowley for 4 years and 11 months. Crash sea bridge. Economy down by 14%. Loss of jobs. No tourism. Tourism crash. People struggling. No sales. No boat. No grocery. Only almond milk. And now they want to give all your COVID too. Look, all you get rid of Rowley fast, yes? A man said the only thing looking better in Tobago is Chamfa. Since she's minister, she look different, boy. Oh, Champa, girl. Venezuelans detained and quarantined. 5 Venezuelan nationals, including 2 children, have been sent to the heliport in Chagaramas to be quarantined for the next 14 days. This brings to 101 the number of Venezuelans held by the police since July 15th. That's 2 weeks. 101 held by the police. And with all due respect, we police not known for holding all, eh? So if they held 101 and the catch rate is 10%, right? It could be 1,001 that really inside because they hold the tip of the iceberg. It's not a joke, it's a very serious thing. We have to go on statistics. Now, for 4 months, you're telling the Douglas, Rowley, Convent girl, COVID, brilliant, amazing. At first you said, well, it's a new virus, we don't know what we're doing, we just, even though you had about 3 months head start, because we started hearing about it on CNN, Al Jazeera, BBC and things since December in Wuhan, China, right? But don't worry, Rowley and them not bright. You see, intelligent people like Tim Gopi Singh and Fuad Khan and them would have been taking note and making a proposal what to do and get ready when it reach here. But not Rowley and them had too much procurement to do. Them had gas negotiation, them had to buy ferry, them had to procure, them had to meet with Sandals, them had to set up Chinese contract to build house, them had important business to do, you know. Anything to do with money, them had to do that first. And Rowley had to bring small pin right by him. So after 4 months, of COVID brilliance, porous borders now, we getting community spread. After not having no community spread for 17 weeks something. Now listen to the strategy. Don't you think after 4 months, you would be well versed, you would have a plan, you would not panic, you would know exactly what to do, you would have a system in place, you'd have mechanisms in place, you'd have people to deploy, you wouldn't be running around like red ants when somebody step on their nest. Here the great P&M plan. After 4 months of practicing COVID preparation, tracing, science, analysis, testing and so on, stay home if you feel sick. After 4 months, that's what them come to tell me. Stay home if you feel sick. What about who feeling sick? Where you feeling sick? The 200 children. How much tests you do? Show us the swabs. Show us the results. Show us where you're going. Trace where they went. Go and test the bed. Put them in quarantine. Want all of that? You see, because Mama gives them the truth is travel slow, you know. But the truth will always arrive. So when you're pretending and utilizing, if we don't test, we have no COVID. And then tell me we's #1 because 2 dumb students who was drinking beers in Oxford say, hey, Trinidad looks like they're doing good, man. Them ain't test nothing. When the real tests come out with about 180 different scientific parameters and methods to measure, we reach 168 out of 188 tested. We in the bottom. Well, small pin in the bottom too. Anyway, I'm going to show you all now. Because if you all feel that the United National Congress, we just react and talk, you remember that Tim Gopi Singh, Rudal Munilal, Wade Mark, Saddam Hussein tried to bring up a debate on COVID in the Senate, in the Parliament, over and over. Kangaloo. And he said, George, who loves she husband, where the gasolina girl, you ask him. Ask him for me now. If the money reach in which account? Paria RBC on the 15th of May or the First Citizens like the invoice say. Lean over and ask him now. Like how Asha Javid lean over and see the clause adding when she was in West Hills with Stuart Small Pin Young. Boy, where the clause, boy? Right by the pin. That way. He put the clause by the pin. Now understand this. To show all you that the Douglas don't lie and don't make up something. Boss, Archie, show them way back in May sometime, May 28th. Go and show the people what the UNC, the Douglas, what Anel was saying about COVID and testing from since then. Now that everybody realized that Convent Girl, Rowley, Small Pin and them, Mama Guy in the whole country, and now we all at risk because the borders open like a window, wide open on a Toko beach, taking breeze. Show them now, If the norm, and this I don't know how to say it again, you know, because I don't know what is wrong with our population. If the normal amount of data necessary to make an adequate curve that can give you some basis to analyze and create come to a conclusion on what you are doing, how to do it, and whether you're doing a good job or a bad job. That international standard benchmark is 3% of the population. 3% of 1 million is 30,000. 3% of 400,000 might be what? Add on another 8,000. So you need for a minimum 38,000 tests. 38,000. The PNM Rowley and Convent Girl Dial Singh, who calling people in the middle of COVID to meet here in Mount Lambert. Well, you know who go meet here in Mount Lambert? Hunt. The hunt is on. I'll go meet here in Mount Lambert when the time comes. You test less than 3,000 people. You're 35,000 people short of a curve. Let me try it this way. I am saying to you that we do not have a curve. We have not had a curve. The testing is so woeful that we have no scientific basis to say or to create any sort of curve. We have not tested, and therefore we have no information to determine whether it had COVID, it didn't have COVID, or whether COVID it may know soul. I am asking any scientist who brighter than me, obviously, as somebody with statistics, a professor, somebody who does research, somebody, a doctor, somebody put on Facebook that Anil the Douglas talking stupidness, and that 3,000 tests is by far and away sufficient to create a mapping, modeling logic for our COVID response. Please show me that I'm wrong, because this bag of nonsense every time. What I go tell all you, and you all have them people running the country, and Rowley put an ad on the radio. Like them don't even listen to what them just put on the radio, saying that in the middle of COVID, he dipped into his P&M intellectual barrel and dug out the brightest 24 for them to create a roadmap forward for us, our country. These bright ones he had in the barrel. But what you had them in the barrel for, and you was running the country for 4 years and 9 months with dunce? You now going to get bright people in the barrel? That's why we in such a mess. But you all understand now, that is May 28th, that was 3,000 tests. We nearly in August. We at the end of July. 60 days after that. You all would think in 60 days, anybody could do 100 tests. And therefore you would hear me saying we've done 9,000 tests about, and 100 tests per day is a little bit. Your countries smaller than us doing 2,000-3,000 tests a day. But I ain't expect much from them. But if they tell me that they do 100 tests a day in the last 60 days, then I should tell you we have about 9,000 tests at this time. 4,712. So only 1,700 tests in 60 days. How much tests that is per day? 30 tests per day for a whole system with $10-20 billion. All you ain't shame. But put in propaganda that Kamala will open the border, Kamala will shut down the border, including the poorest, make the 360 radar, get the air guard up, get the helicopters up, get the 14 Coast Guard vessels patrolling the coast, get the interceptors out, get the army out, get customs out, get immigration out, get everybody out. And shut down them fishing boats from coming from Venezuela into Chagaramas. Lock off that one time. You now going to investigate that, Stuart Young? You have put the entire population at danger. We are in grave danger because of your abject incompetence. But you so incompetent. But your brother is so brilliant. He's the best CEO in the history of the planet. To move from 0 to 3.62 billion in 4 years and 6 months. My goodness, Zuckerberg want nothing with he. All of them bright fellas at IBM and so on. Buffett, Warren Buffett, looking to hire Angus Young. It's amazing. How can someone be so lucky and so skillful to get $3.62 billion of work after his dotish brother do so? I swear to be Rowley Smallpin till the day I die. I love him. Oh my goodness, I'm going to go anywhere with Rowley. If Rowley wants to negotiate gas price and shut down Port Lisas, I will be there with him. If he wants to give Butch $1 billion US, I would negotiate with Rowley. He is my boy, and my small pin sticks close to Rowley. Small pin, this chook hard. We coming back. Nakhid just now. 10 minutes more and then we going. David Nakhid, the next member of parliament for Tunapuna. We done with the joke, Ford. We putting serious men to run this country. We coming back.
August 10th, 2020 is an election like no other, and you need a team like no other. Hunt, Haynes, Ran, Badarat, Nakhid, or Tanku, Lee, Rambali, Garner, Lakis, Zakuru, Singh, Baird, Charles, Amin, Bodo, Charles, Walker, Munilal, Hussein, Hoyt, Benjamin, Ragbir, Ratiram, Stowe, Andrews, Indar Singh, Parry, Green, Sobers, Mohit, Obika, Roberts, Williams, David, John. Vote for the candidate and a leader you can trust. Kamla Prasad Bisesa.
Election day when you stay in your hand, it's for the UNC and the rising sun, 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 sun.
What time it is? What time it is?
The United National Congress. Why wait? Now is the time.
And welcome back to Tunapuna, where David Nakhid has been on the ground for the last 2 months, working hard, meeting people, shaking hands, talking to people. We are going to talk to him in a little bit. The candidate for the United National Congress who is going to win Tunapuna, walk into government and represent people and serve the people. We are sick and fed up of these PNM MPs who just tell you, pull a number. Pull a number, and once you cross 25, if it's number 26, come back next week. The UNC don't have that. The UNC have MP stay in office until the last person leave. When I was an MP, I used to see an average of 110 to 140 people. Kamla Prasad Bisesa as Prime Minister, you would have seen them 3 van with special branch park up. On a Tuesday, she would see an average of 560 to 650 people on a Tuesday and sometimes on a Saturday. You had, well, when Jack Warner was there, you had about 700, 800. He mad. He used to go in the office from 3 a.m. Not me and that. Only ain't killing me. I go work hard, but me ain't go dead. You understand? So, but the UNC is not like Coleman, but hey, there are 25 numbers. Reach early. And if you're lucky, you get to see Colm the Dwayne who do it. All you go ahead and all you go in and vote for that? Well, all right. Why go tell all the Douglas Carvex? Talking about Dwaynes who do it. Let's listen to another. I wouldn't tell all you who said this. A sitting PNM MP said his representation to the people of his constituency and his record-breaking achievements in cabinet will ensure he's re-elected. Who is the last person who should say that on the PNM side? Fitzgerald Hines. Well, true. He's about bronze medal position. They have one fella who is the world record holder in getting licks. Nobody get beat like he in the history of jurisprudence, in the history of the Commonwealth. A man lost 29 cases. Yes, only no Paris and Rari and a rental and a tight pants. That man say his record as Attorney General should allow people to vote back for he. But you lost 29 straight. That like if Nakhid used to lose 29 games, we wouldn't have him putty, we wouldn't let him have short pants. But Nakhid would never do that. Nakhid must have never lost 2 games straight in his whole life, whether in club, school, or national team. Faris Al-Rawi says, I ain't bothered with Faris. I say, let me just say, I see a man jump out on Facebook. I didn't know where he was. A man, yeah, don't worry that we have, hey, you see campaign swinging, right? Well, we have campaign, we have election. But when you have a prime minister who calls an election, smack dab in the middle of children studying, what do you want me to do? The man said the SEA on the 20th, early o'clock. Cape, 2 months before that, the children knew they were going to do Cape and CSEC. And this clown of a prime minister who don't care about nobody else but himself and his procurement, without procurement legislation, without board, without tender committee, who puts himself and his friends close to all your money and tell you, who better to spend your money close and tight than me? A man who can't tell the truth about what he eat for breakfast. And you all are going to think about voting for that? And he ready to call everybody else thief. Everybody else. But he and Small Pin and them hug up the money with Noel Garcia and come in and them tight. Like a police boots. But them a thief? Nah, man. Well, I see a fella come out, jump out himself and looking for recognition, trying to talk to Kamla and tell Kamla what to do, trying to get back in the good graces. Let me tell you something, La Hunt. You had tried to get in the People Partnership government through Winston Dukaran. And there's Anil and a few UNC ministers who pelt you out and say, boy, you ain't no good. You ain't coming inside this cabinet or inside no partnership. Or you feel I wouldn't sell you out. Yeah, you didn't know that. PNM, and he want to be the leader of the PNM. Ask Hunt if he had put in the application through Dukaran to come into the partnership government in 2013, 2014. Go and ask the same Hunt. And he's a PNM, you want to be PNM leader. You mustn't get the Douglas vex, you should have hush your mouth, boy. You now come in the government, swearing twice, couldn't tell them that you swear to be a Ghanaian. You come and tell me you come to save we with water. You come to fix leak. It had 2,800 leak when you're swearing. The year after it had 4,200. The year after that it had 6,500. Now we're losing 4.5 billion gallons of water every time Wassa turn on the pump. And they tell we God and make it rain. The PNM just blame God and all. Now Lahunt, you went and you challenged Rowley. You tried to be a man. You stand up like a man. You smell yourself and you went at Rowley. You said, Rowley, you have to get rid of small pin. Rowley bust your throat, leave you out. You went and begged Labre to see if you could get a seat. They spit you out. Rowley spit you out. Nobody want to check you. Nobody want to look for you. Now you come back on Facebook trying to get back in. You are suffering from mental slavery, sir. The cult, the search for power, the yearning for power has your mind locked. After people have neutered you, you are a eunuch. Rowley cut you off and you come back to try and fight Kamala. Boy, behave yourself. If you can't beat Rowley, you think you could battle Kamala? Kamala 500 times brighter than Rowley. Eh? Sinanan said mobile licensing buses coming soon. So moving buses to mobile, we could get we license. So we couldn't get we testing for the last 4 months in car. We could all over the world. People driving up in car park, swab their nose and getting their results within 10 to 15 minutes. We couldn't do that. But all you come to tell me about license, we don't want a license if we dead in a COVID. What are you going to drive? To the grave? We're going to drive to La Perouse? Cutting it close, says Judy Raymond and the editorial. This is the last point I'm going to make, and then I'm going to bring out David Nakhid, take a short break. But listen to this and understand why these newspapers are dangerous. Why they try to uphold incompetence. Everybody is aware that Kamala Prasad Bisesa and the UNC have the plan out months now. Not so? Everybody, all the Tunapuna, brilliant businessmen, financial people, doctors, sportsmen, lawyers, everybody, grassroots people are down on youth, in sport, all across the board, education, early childhood teachers, professors, put their input in. And the UNC detailed plan 2020 has been up for public viewing, analysis, and comment for months now. Pre-COVID. It was adapted post-COVID, during COVID and post-COVID. Yet I have to get up and read an editorial in the Newsday. And I asked Judy Raymond again, out of the two leaders vying to be Prime Minister, in your lifetime, which one have you been closer to? Do you have an affinity for Kamala? Or is it Rowley? Which one you have an affinity? You're not answering my question. You want me to answer all your questions. You want to put me on a front page about life sport. You could put me on 10 front page. The girl find I look good in suit. Right? So play innuendo. Don't get tied up. So Judy Raymond, I'm asking you. Let's read what Judy Raymond says in this editorial, right? Cutting it close. One of the biggest events in a general election season is the release of the party's manifestos. These documents are typically launched with much fanfare, unveiled at specially organized events, and published in easy-to-distribute formats. 2 weeks before the election, that is yet to happen. Is that true? That is yet to happen for Rowley. Kamala's own has been out and debated and put together 6 months now. But this is what passes as journalism, and y'all buy this and read this, and this goes into your brain, and you feel that they have a perception. These people twist our minds. Well, this used to sell 49,000 papers before Judy Raymond moved from the Guardian. You see where she come from, eh? She come from the belly of the beast of hatred of Yellow and Kamla. And nobody wants media to be nobody's friend, you know. But be fair. This is not fair. This is nonsense. Rowley has, as I'm speaking here, no manifesto. Kamla's UNC Plan 2020 has been there for 6 months, but a Judy Raymond editorial in a newspaper, well, it's only selling 10,000 copies now, so at least thank God for that. Because since she get rid of all the good reporters and so on, she only want them who she does control. Nobody ain't buying it. Only I buying it because I have to read it for all you, and then I use it to pick up my dog poo-poo. Especially, I save the Newsday for when they have diarrhea. You know, sometimes you change the food and the dog get diarrhea. Newsday, best for that. She continues, equally, the UNC, frequently calling on the PNM to focus on plans and not mudslinging, has offered little detail to support some of its more attention-grabbing promises. Is that so? Kamla Prasad Bisesa, in the last 18 weeks, whether Monday night forum from since January and February, into COVID on the ballot, has been given a speech of an average of 45 minutes per speech, of which 32 minutes per speech is detailed plans, programs, how she going to do it. She don't but this is madness. When she talks about jobs, she tells you exactly how she's going to do it. When she talks about growth, she tells you how she's going to do it, how she's going to generate revenue from cutting corporation tax. She tells you about the agro-processing. She tells you about the diversification. I get bored sometimes because, you know, I like the little bacchanal too. But Kamla not on no bacchanal. Kamla on policy, plan, program. The lady has gone to great pains before last year, in 2019, to talk to the population about her plans, about her digital economy, about the resource allocation, about research and investment in our intellectual capital of our young people. And this Judy Raymond writes an editorial ball in the UNC and do nothing. Y'all right-thinking people there. All you really find that is right, that is fair, that is good journalism, that this must be upheld. This is nonsense, she continued. But manifestos are important. They are a way to gauge the intentions of a group. They help track progress over time, and they can be used to hold governments to account. Well, the PNM had a manifesto 2015. I went through it. They have successfully completed 6.8% of what they said. Why you don't do the analysis and tell me that they failed? So you had a manifesto, you have seen them government for 4 years and 11 months, and you have no analysis. They have no manifesto. UNC Plan 2020 is there, and you say both parties are the same thing? That is disgraceful and dishonest. She continued, you know. I ain't done there. The first COVID-19 recovery plan report has not been produced. But I PNM again. The COVID-19 report, what is that? Who cares about that? And it may well be some parties are withholding plans to maintain an advantage. Kamla plan, I cannot even understand. Newsday, all you go ahead. Castani, stay with your Judy Raymond. By next year, you will be selling -10 papers. You will break world records. You will be the first newspaper to sell -10 because people will pick it up and just throw it in the garbage. Just for that. Nonsense. A government has no manifesto 2 weeks before election. Kamla has on way out, all out there with every plan, program, what she going to do, how she going to do it, down to traffic management, down to education, down to tablets for primary school, bring back laptop, digital age, Wi-Fi across the country, Trinidad and Tobago, flowing sea bridge, tourism, smart tourism, COVID, developing our room infrastructure under the COVID lay down for tourism. And you all actually write that? That is so disgusting. I lucky I can't cuss on this Douglas politics, you know. We coming back. David Nakhid. You see Judy Raymond? Let me talk to David Nakhid now. Then you're going to say, what? David Nakhid never play football? That's what you're going to write? Because you're writing that the UNC have no plan. That's like saying David Nakhid never play football. We coming back. Tunapuna. We here.
August 10th, 2020 is an election like no other, and you need a team like no other. Hunt, Haynes, Ran, Badarat, Nakhid, Orr, Tanku, Lee, Rambali, Garner, Lakis, Zakuru, Singh, Baird, Charles, Amin, Bodo, Charles, Walker, Munilal, Hussein, Hoyt, Benjamin, Ragbir, Ratiwab, Stowe, Andrews, Indar Singh, Parry, Green, Sobers, Mohit, Obika, Roberts, Williams, David, John. Vote for the candidate and a leader you can trust. Kamla Prasad Bisesa.
Election day when you stay in your hand, it's for the UNC and the rising sun.
What time it is? What time it is?
The United National Congress. Why wait? Now is the time.
Now is the time! Tunapuna, what you deserve is an MP that cares about your needs. An MP that cares for the people. What you need is David Nakhid. Hey, what time it is? What time it is? What time it is? Nakhid come to show them action.
This is the type of candidate that the UNC puts forward. We know since he was about 6 years old, he won his first trophy and national title in football. We follow him throughout. We know his brain, not only sport, all around. He has served this country, even when footballers wasn't even getting paid. When they didn't have no big money. But he didn't quit, go in practice, morning and evening, fighting for people all his life. He is not a secret, but we're going to let the young people know. Some of you might be young. He looking young, you know. Looking fit. He is so young, you know, but he looking young, though. That's the main thing. The next member of parliament for Tunapuna, David Nakhid. I want these young people to learn about David Nakhid. Tell me when you're born, where you grew up, and where you kick your first ball, and take me through that football experience and where it carried you globally.
Well, I grew up in Mongdo, Shafler. I was playing football all along the East-West corridor, from Lavantil to St. Joseph to Tunapuna to Tagayuga. And, you know, football was, for me, a way to express myself. The creative side of football was always something that really attracted me. And I was outspoken since I was a young guy, but football allowed me that avenue to really focus my energy in a more positive way. So of course, I was born May 15, 1964. I played for the national youth team.
Which one? At what age you made your first team?
My first team?
Yeah.
At 16 years old.
16.
Yeah, the Dexter Skeen and Hiron Bess. And we had a great team. We went to Guatemala and shocked Honduras.
Who was the coach?
Buttel Sinclair.
Yeah. Right.
So we had a really good team. We did well. The surprise of the tournament. And from that, I got a scholarship to Washington, D.C., the American University. And I went on to excel at university.
Don't rush through that. When you got the scholarship, tell me about the culture shock from, was it a change in fitness and training and going out there in American University?
Everything, bro. Everything. It was so professional. You know, you're looking at college and you're thinking, you know, the Americans can't, you know, they can't play, they can't match us in terms of technical ability. But the fitness, and you know yourself, because you went to university over there and you played as well. So it was a whole shock. How we used to train and run and eat. Everything was new to us. And what I did, and a lot of people who I went to school with, Troy Regis, Barry Henderson, Dwayne Gonzalez, they knew that I used to train by myself. Because about the second year in university, I don't know why, I decided I wanted to play professional football in Europe. And the reason for that is that when I graduated from American University, I was drafted by the Baltimore Blast It was the only professional league at the time. And I played with some Englishmen who were very racist. And of course, among the many skirmishes between myself and they, I ended up telling one of them who had played in Arsenal. I told him, well, if you could play in Arsenal, I'm going to play in Europe. And which I went on to do. I played 4 years at Grasshopper Zurich. I played in Waregem, Belgium. I played in Greece. Then I went on to play in the Middle East. I had a very successful career, thank God. I was spared a lot of injuries. As a matter of fact, one of the injuries I had, you helped me recover with the national team.
Give them that story, you know. You understand the feeling, and then there's only swimming. But his nickname was Buckety and Dexter Skeen. I must say, and I would tell you all this, very impressed, because many footballers managed who passed away. Richard Abraham used to bring many footballers to me to rehab them in the pool and so on. He had brought Danulal when he broke his leg 2 places at Joe Public, and they said he couldn't come back. I brought him back working hard. But one man who I could tell you, the other Arnold Dorica, my partner, was supposed to come. He come 1 session with me. That was about 20 years ago. I'm waiting for him to come back the 2nd session. He ain't come back yet. He take that pressure. But this man came for 6 months straight, 5 days a week, 2 hours of pressure when I tell you, I ain't easy. And I say, boy, you are one tough fella. And his knee, I think it was the knee, and they said it, you might come back and so on.
I mightn't come back because I was already 34 years old, 33 years old. But from that fitness regime, I mean, I used to be down in West Mall at 5, then up to the pool by 6:37.
By McEnroy
Street in
Curep, yeah.
And we swimming. I mean, it was, Manuel pushed me. As a matter of fact, I've stated before, Arnold is probably the best. He can coach anything. I mean, coaching is about having the capacity. And he definitely had the capacity to coach in any discipline. And
how many years more you played after that? Because you even went on the captain national team after that?
Well, I was the captain already. We had won the Shell Cup in Antigua.
Right.
And I was MVP. But the good thing about that is that in 1998, I went on to play in the Gold Cup.
Right.
Against Mexico. And I had 2 offers, one from Necaxa in Mexico at the age of 34. And I had an offer from, of course, from New England Revolution. And I decided to go to New England Revolution. So at the age of 34, when most people were thinking about retiring, because of the training I went through, I took it up another level and went on to play 7 more years.
But you also, throughout, had a very good academic career. You went into St. Mary's College. Tell me about that.
Well, I went into St. Mary's College, and I went on I excelled academically, which was a big surprise to most people because I was only playing football every chance I got. But when I realized if I wanted to continue playing football in the colleges league, that I had to get into Form 6, I really beat book, man.
Well, that's good.
I really beat book.
Yeah.
I was up in UE all the time, me, Dexter, Barry, Kurt Hernandez, beating book. So I got enough passes to get into Form 6, where I got enough passes again to go to American University. And the rest is history.
And talk to me now, you're into the politics. You've always been, when people feel politics, you're now into the, let me say, the active politics going into parliament. But you have always been a man who has helped, I know, because you never really had any fanfare about it, but over the years, the little kakada you made playing football, you always used to give back to the community, charity, and so on. What made you make that step now into the real serve the people, stepping up into parliament?
Well, I've always commented on what I felt was the social inequity and the lack of social justice, especially in the so-called PNM strongholds along the East-West corridor, which, to be honest, was my main concern because that's where I grew up. My uncle, as some people may know, was Rudolph Charles, the Hammer. And I would go up there and I would see, the poverty, the lack of infrastructure. And I would say, well, if this is the PNM strongholds, what are they doing? Why are these people still voting for the PNM? So COVID-19 came. I was in Trinidad because I was invited by Grenada to be their global ambassador, and I decided to come home. And when I came home, I saw the need on the ground. I began to give out hampers in Mongdo, in St. Joseph, in Lavantil. And it was something that I began to get really, really emotional about. And you couldn't believe that these P&M people who are supposed to serve the people, their operatives, they don't care about the people. So I began to look at things, and I realized, you know what, David, stop writing articles, time to serve the people on the ground. And I made that step, and I felt that the UNC was the vehicle to take this thing forward. I think the UNC has demonstrated their willingness to have a diverse slate of candidates that really represents Trinidad and Tobago. And you know, our honorable leader, she embraced me, and I look forward to serving the people.
Well, you said something there that I have to go back to. He's a despot, man. You understand?
You better be.
He's a despot. My father is a lawyer from Rudolph Charles and them from a long time, since the 70s. So he's a despot, only a despot. That's all I is. So when a man called Rudolph Charles is the uncle, I didn't know that. Tell the young people, who is Rudolph Charles, the hammer? Explain to the young people. I know that everybody over 45, 50 will know. Talk to the young people about Rudolph Charles.
Well, I like to give stories about Uncle Rudolph. I would go in the summer, well, we say summer, but you know, when school was off, I would go and spend 2 weeks up there in Picton Road. And I would be playing football all day. And I'd walk up, my father would drop me down the hill, and I'd walk. That's the days they walk up the hill, and I hear the people saying, you know, look Rudolph, miserable little red nephew coming. Because they know I'd come and I playing football all day. And all day I playing football. Until Mama called me sometime in the night. You know, boy, come and just skinny yourself and eat something. So Uncle Rudolph, we were amazed. Why his strength, his charisma. He would come sometimes, and I remember one time we playing cricket, and he holding me in one hand, and he bat in one hand, and he lost about 3 balls. You know, lost ball win. He holding me in one hand, and he only laughing, and my brother and them pelting, and he only every ball he hitting over somewhere, lost ball win, and he only laughing. I remember. That's how I remember Uncle. Strong man. Charismatic
when
man.
Did you realize that he was a genius pan arranger, pan man? When did you realize? Because you know him as Uncle Rudolph.
Well, I knew this from how my father reacted to Uncle Rudolph.
Right.
My father was a very quiet man, but I used to see my father's eyes when Uncle Rudolph came up to Shaft here to visit us. My father hardly used to embrace a lot of people. Very private, man of few words. But when Uncle Rudolph came up, my father used to treat him like royalty. So I knew this was a man of import. You know, and Uncle Rudolph really and truly made an impression on me since then. You know, and I remember him with a lot of nostalgia. I remember him with a lot of emotion. I think we lost a giant. And, you know, I hope, I compare myself to him, which is impossible, but I hope to have that same impact he had. I hope to have that in the East-West Corridor. Because I know wherever he is, he'll be watching down and proud of me.
Well, we're going to come back and talk about some of the plans that David Nakhid has when he gets into Parliament. We already know sport, now we know culture, pan. Unfortunately, the People's National Movement has suffered the pan like no other government. Rowley has suffered the pan like no other government in the history of Trinidad and Tobago by shutting down Petrotrin. Over 123 steel bands lost their sponsorship. He also cut funding for school pan with Garcia, who is also cut from Arima too, and Lovell Francis, who he cut from Moruga and put Gypsy to get a cut tail from Michelle Benjamin down inside of there. But we're going to talk pan, music, culture, job creation. David Nakhid, the next member of Parliament for Tunapuna. We're coming back.
Yeah! August 10th, 2020 is an election like no other, and you need a team like no other. Hunt, Haynes, Ran, Badarat, Nakhid, Or, Tanku, Lee, Rambali, Garner, Lakis, Zakuru, Singh, Baird, Charles, Amin, Bodo, Charles, Walker, Munilal, Hussein, Hoyt, Benjamin, Ragbir, Ratiram, Stowe, Andrews, Indar Singh, Parry, Green, Sobers, Mohit, Obika, Roberts, Williams, David, John. Vote for the candidate and a leader you can trust. Kamla Prasad Bisesa.
Election day when you stay in your hand, it's for the UNC and the rising sun, 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 sun.
What time it is? What time it is?
The United National Congress. Why wait? Now is the time.
Constituency, he has a plan.
So let's all join together as one. If you believe that the time has.
Boy, I like that tune, boy. I like that tune. Alright, I like it too. You know me, man. I love that. Now is the time. Share the live, please, because we have David Nakhid here all over Tunapuna. Share the live, especially in Tunapuna and environs, because this is the man going to represent you. You're getting to know your candidate, David Nakhid. David, clearly from what you're saying, I see that you're focused on job opportunities for young people, youth delinquency, and so on. What are some of your plans when you win this election August 10th?
Well, I prefer to tell you what I've already done.
Okay.
In these 23 days I've been here. I've initiated an agri project in Akuno for over 300 unemployed men.
300, you said?
300. And we cleared in Nakhid land up there over 2 acres. They already put on pachoy cucumber. And we're looking at creating another in Karamat Street, another agri project there. And when we get into government, God willing, we have on board a mango processing plant that's similar to what the Kingston youths in the ghetto brought themselves out of poverty into middle class lifestyle.
Tell us a bit about that. Not everybody understands.
No, they don't understand. Yeah. You know, when at first I began to say that, you know, of course the PNM operatives who if they have one brain cell, you know, they're lucky. And that brain cell might belong, it certainly don't belong to Rowley or Young. So what I did was began to speak about that processing plant, and was met with a lot of skepticism. Now I have people coming in here, businessmen who are really interested in the project, because mango is a new superfood. Mango can bring us foreign exchange. I mean, a mango in Belgium sells for $6 US. $6 US. A mango that we wouldn't even eat it on. We would use it to pick our next mango. That's selling for $6 US. So I think if we have 4 process lines, mango chunks, concentrate, different things. Why? I'll tell you why. It came to me driving through the constituency. I saw over 40,000 mangoes on the ground in Kora. 40,000 mangoes wasting on the ground. And I immediately said, you know, this is something we could get into. It will eliminate the unemployment that we have so high under this PNM government. We providing over 1,000 jobs there, because from gathering, and listen to this, and it will be a cooperative, meaning that these young men, they're not working for somebody, they will own the company. That's exactly what happened in Kingston. So they will own the company, and we could bring them out of this mentality of CPEP and URP that the PNM has unfortunately kept them locked in for so many years. So I think as our honorable leader said, the winds of change is coming. I mean, these young men and women, they're not anymore diehard PNM. They realize that this is the people never matter party, and they have no love for them.
Tell me a bit more about that. As you walked around and I seen you walk around watching you must have walked the entire constituency of Tunapuna about 2.5, 3 times, and it's quite a vast constituency. Talk to me about the responses that you're getting. And most importantly, what I've seen on your campaign, you see the PNM trying to play race, and for years they're desperate. They want to say there's a difference between African and Indian. And I telling them right through, we are all Trinbagonians and there's no difference. We have to vote on policy. But I've seen in your campaign, it's a rainbow, all kind of people walking with you, talking with you. All there, you can't identify one from the other.
Listen, what else does PNM have? They have nothing else. I mean, they cannot talk about policy. I mean, they cannot talk about policy implementation. So the other, you know, when we were watching the other day and Rowley talking about, you know, fiscal policy, it was so painful to watch. The man don't even understand how you could inculcate fiscal policy into fixing the infrastructure that is so needed in our constituency. That is the major, you don't know, that is the major complaint of the constituents in Tunapuna, is the infrastructure or the lack of it. So you hear somebody without any kind of intellectual capacity like Ford talking about the infrastructure just fine. To who? To who? Only their sycophants will tell you the aesthetic in Tunapuna, which hasn't changed for the last 40 years, is fine. And that is their major complaint. So we have a lot of plans, and I want them to listen to this, because I know they will copy it.
Yeah, but they can't implement it.
They can't implement anything. They cannot. So we intend to change that Tunapuna proper. There are all the vendors, all the stores, that we can make it more user-friendly to the constituents. Saturday, Sunday, we close it off at a certain time. You know, we put cobblestone that people could walk with their families. When last somebody walk in Tunapuna? They go up to Chin City, they go somewhere else in town. We want to make Tunapuna. Tunapuna has the capacity to be a borough. To be a borough. You know, when I said that, then about a week after, I heard Ford talking about turning Tunapuna into a borough. If you ask him how to spell borough, you have problems.
Well, yes. The problem with Ford is he's hearing on an echo. He have a space between the ears, so when it's take long to hear, because he's come back as reverberate and come back on an echo. So talk to me about the infrastructure, because I walk through this local government, I walk through all Tunapuna. And to tell you the truth, I was ashamed. I was ashamed for the PNM. I don't like them, but I still shame for them, because Tunapuna is a critical seat. And you would think that somebody in the PNM would have a brain and say, boy, this is such a critical seat. Let's ensure that the roads good, that the recreation grounds cut and nice, that the lights working. I see some fellas playing football, and boy, man getting shake because they can't see the next man coming in. Because there's only one light working on our grounds. Tell me what you have seen and what you're going to do. And most importantly, how you're going to go in cabinet and argue for it. You see, people feel just because they're an MP, you could get through. But you saw Esmond Ford as an MP, but he ain't get nothing because he not in cabinet and he can't argue and he gets no resources. What will you do? Well, we know you're a fighter a long time, but you have to get in a cabinet and get resources for your people in Tunapuna.
Right, and I think our honorable leader, she has established that this must be a seat eventually, that we make it into a safe seat for the UNC, because we are the only ones who could address the problems. Coming back to your point about sport, I don't talk about what I'm going to do, and I'm talking about what I've already done. I've had 2 football extravaganzas already in the constituency.
2 already in this little 2 months there?
Not even 2 months and...
In less than 2 months?
21 days.
How much Ford had in 5 years?
Nothing. None.
Say it again. How much Ford had? But I know that. The man had nothing. Not even a sweat, boy. Ford died, I had a cry. Oh God, I try my best, boy. Get out. Politics is not for no cry, baby boy.
Anil, in the first one we had at the Center of Excellence, we had over 2,500 people.
You see, man thirsty for sweat.
Man thirsty for sweat, that they feel something is coming. So we had some of the icons in Tunapuna. You know, Tunapuna had 70 players.
For the national team? For
the national team, 70 players, and there's nothing to honor them. They have no legacy. So I've been speaking with them. We had them come up, we honored some of them, Godfrey Harris, Noble Phillip, Oscar Waljon. Those icons I talk about.
I go share a secret with you, you know.
Tell me.
Eddie Hart is my boy, you know. I hear quietly he wants you to win. Eddie, if you don't lie, I say I lie, you know. Eddie Hart, you know I love you, boy, but you know, we know the truth. You're in that thing long time, I don't make it. But I don't get his Zeppo, I get the message you sent for me. So I tell him now, Eddie back in here.
Well, I think anybody who wants to take Tunapuna from where it has been, which is a state of stagnancy in terms of sport. Imagine Tunapuna has no famous football team anymore. Back in the day, you had Blackpool, Pioneers, House of Dread, who I played for. I played for House of Dread. So it was serious football here. And now there was nothing. So 2,500 people came out in Center Excellence. Then we had another one, which was also really successful in Maracas St. Joseph. So I think
on the Real Maracas,
That little field by in front of
Yes.
Mountain View?
Yes.
Yeah, we had it there.
You know the other side they call Real Maracas. When the last
course,
UNC was in there, they had full funding. You know that Kamla Prasad Bissessa had full funded $11 million for the Pro League running smoothly. When Dexter Skeen was the CEO, Brian Lewis was there. Don't mind Brian Lewis, never tell me thanks or nothing, but go on to screen for the PNM and they spit him out. It's alright, my brother. God bless. But it's alright. But the PNM came in and cut funding for the... Do you know the Pro League has not had a complete season in the last 4 years under the PNM? The semi-pro, the Super League has nearly crashed and crumbled. We had sides like Real Maracas, Malabar FC, Santa Rosa, all of them were coming up to... We could have boosted the Pro League to about 12 teams and all of that fall away.
Well, I think I know that happened under your watch, which is a successful one. Because you know sport. You know sport. And you're well loved. And I think we intend to establish, as a matter of fact, from those two tournaments, we made a Tunapuna All-Star team.
Already,
although Jolene beat me up. Jolene, I'm coming back for you.
Wait, Jolene beat you?
Yeah, boy,
you want to know
why?
Why? La Hoqueta side start under live sport in 2012. That is what all they wanted to talk live sport. Look at that. That La Hoqueta side and winning all it and went and win Super League. That started under live sport. All them boys was doing nothing and come together. And look at that. But that is alright. We have to understand that we have opportunity. So you already getting an all-star team.
Already.
But Tunapuna have netballers.
Table tennis.
Table tennis.
Okay, and you intend to put an aquatic center here because there's the capacity for that. And we really wanted to change the paradigm, how sport has been seen. I mean, it's dead, non-existent. So anything we come, for these older players and younger players, they're hungry, Anna. They're hungry to get things going, and the response has been tremendous on the ground. And we look forward to establishing that mentorship program that we have in the manifesto, where the older players will remain involved.
Correct.
Will remain involved and not just be cast aside. So I think, listen, the youths had enough. The PNM can't come with the same old rhetoric. I'll pave a road here. You look like me, so vote for me. These youths here, Arnold, they had enough. They realized waste of time. What their mothers and grandfathers and grandmothers did doesn't apply to them. They're hungry. 70% unemployment in the constituency. Among the young Africans. Among the young. 70%. So we have to deal with that and treat with that. And we already began, thank God. And that's why it has been such a successful campaign until now, because I'm not talking about what I will do. I have done already. As a matter of fact, a PNM man called into 102. I had an interview on 102. He said, Nakhid, do more in 21 days than I see in 53 years.
And he's a PNM?
I swear to God. You never hear why he was being insulting.
Yeah.
He said, where you getting the resources from? And then he realized, what he said.
Yes.
Nakhid do more in 21 days than PNM doing 53 years. And then he realized, and I tell him, it's not about resources, it's about being resourceful.
It's not about resources. It's about being resourceful. And that is Kamla Prasad Bissessa. That is David Nakhid. Tunapuna licks like peas from Labre, Point 14, straight up to Toko Sangigrammy, Matlot into Tunapuna, into Sawa Barataria, St. Joseph, straight down, across the board, San Fernando West. Alrawi, by the time we done with you, you're going to wear a parachute pants, boy. No more tight pants. We coming back. David Nakhid.
August 10th, 2020 is an election like no other, and you need a team like no other. Hunt, Haynes, Ran, Badarat, Nakhid, Or, Tanku, Lee, Rambali, Garner, Lakis, Zakuru, Singh, Baird, Charles, Amin, Bodo, Charles, Walker, Munilal, Hussein, Hoyt, Benjamin, Ragbir, Ratiram, Stowe, Andrews, Indar Singh, Parry, Green, Sobers, Mohit, Obika, Roberts, Williams, David, John. Vote for the candidate and a leader you can trust. Kamla Prasad Bisesa.
Election day when you stay in your hand, it's for the UNC and the rising sun, 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 sun.
What time it is? What time it is?
The United National Congress. Why wait? Now is the time.
And welcome back to Tunapuna. Make some noise. We're here with David Nakhid, the next member of parliament of Tunapuna. And David, as I see that advertisement, and I remember being in the cabinet under Kamla Prasad Bisesa, and I realize why her government was able to perform so well across the board. You see roads, hospital, medicine, oncology, drugs, education, early childhood, primary schools, 106 schools built, laptops, textbook grant, 100 million more, sport, across the board, culture, PAN, everybody worked. Because I remember, it was like a team. Fazal Karim needed some place for his nurses to train and so on. He said, Anil, but you have a youth facility there in El Dorado that's not really utilized. And I do a cabinet note, I say, Fazal, take that and use that. Nurses getting trained. The PNM does not operate like a team. There are ministers in the cabinet now cannot call me, but don't tell them good morning. Stuart Small, Young, the chups at them. They have no teamwork. That's why everything is collapsing. You're a team man, you're a captain. Talk to me about that synergy that's going to happen on August 11th, moving forward to move the country forward as a team UNC in government.
Well, our mandate is clear. God willing, and as a member of parliament, if the honorable leader decides that I should be in cabinet, I'll be more than happy. I think our mandate is one that we really embrace what she has, her points are, economic for socio-economic revitalization of the country. And we look forward to working towards that. Now, before you can have a team to implement something, you have to have a team that is interested in implementing something. The PNM Manifesto writ large have never been interested in improving the lives of the majority of the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. That is clear. So even before COVID-19, we saw basically an economy that was tanking. Everybody knows that. So they can't come now and say, well, look at what they have done with COVID-19. Anybody with some brain cells we know that basically they are a party that's dead in the water. So I think we look forward as people, hopefully in cabinet, to work with our Prime Minister, the new Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Kamla Prasad Bisesa, and improving the lives of the people. And she always stresses that we have to have love for the people. And I keep repeating, she doesn't mean it's a romantic love, idealistic love. Love for the people means meeting their concerns, meeting their needs. So I think Rowley has shown a lack of empathy for the people, and everybody knows that. All the East-West Corridor, they know that. And we hope, and God willing, when we remove this wicked government from governance, that we will show the people what is real governance.
When you say wicked, I saw you walking about with your team and so on, and I see nice early childhood centers that Tim Gopi Singh had nearly finished, 95%, 98%, and bush and snake and thing growing
in Quora, if you see that facility, perfect facility.
Which one? Where?
In Quora, you
yes.
call it Quora Early Childhood Learning
yes.
Center, right next to the Hindu school. Perfect, beautiful school, a nice little pig. They won't open it. You know why? The UNC building. They wouldn't know. They deny the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago from benefiting from what the UNC had done. That's how wicked they are. Now, in my short space of time here, I have identified 67 poor and putrid garbage collection points. So what I did?
67.
67.
And we are talking in a day and age of virus, of health, of cleanly living, of elbow bumps, of masks. And you are telling me in Tunapuna,
67 putrid garbage collection points. What I did? I said, let me try something. I commissioned 3 dustbins like we have in Europe.
Oh yes, I saw that. Yes, right.
People were blown away. Love it. You know what the PNM did? They come and they turn the dustbin and begin to throw the rubbish right next to it. These people don't care about people, and they do not care about the people.
Wow. You serious?
Yeah. But hear what? You know me.
Yeah.
I commissioned 10 more.
Excellent. 10 more for the people already.
10 more for the people already.
So imagine.
Don't ask me where I get the resources from,
But you know where you're getting the resources when you're in government, because the resources must redound to the benefit of the people.
It must. And I think anybody, no matter how they try to be obscure and they try to criticize the UNC, they have to admit the UNC under Kamala Prasad Bisasa. They perform, they constructed, they built. What the PNM has done, they deconstruct. Sell out the country. And I think that's why it was such an easy decision to get involved with the UNC, because there's no comparison. There's no comparison between the UNC and the People Never Matters movement.
Look in that camera there. Talk to the people of Tunapuna. Ask them for their vote coming August 10th to make you the next representative and member of parliament for Tunapuna.
My constituents of Tunapuna, I've walked among you, I've been among you, I've felt the love, I've felt your desire to have a better community. August 10th, rise early, say prayers, and come out and vote for the only alternative, David Nakhid, for MP. Looking forward to see you there, and looking forward to bringing this constituency into the 21st century.
And let me tell you, as a former cabinet minister, I could tell you, a man like that, going inside cabinet, will argue. You have to be able to make arguments. When I was in cabinet, you had 32 other ministers. All of we want resources for our people or our plans or our ministry. You have to be able to get in there, put your cabinet note in, and make a convincing argument to get the resources. That's why the PNM fails, because out of their 23 ministers, 18 of them can't talk. They don't even get to say good morning. Nobody study them. Rowley don't watch them. He only want to hear from Smallpin, a la Rental, a la Tight Pants, Dwayne who does do it, and Rohan. And that's it. The others there just window dressing. This man from City Small, they say, look, Rudolph Charles' little red skinny nephew, the bad, the mischievous one, coming to cause bacchanal because he arguing for things for his people. That's what you need, Tunapuna. But don't feel, Archie gave my video ready about the PNM there, no? Don't feel the PNM didn't achieve nothing, you know. In 4 years and 11 months, Rowley has done quite a lot, you know. It mightn't be good, but he has achieved quite a lot. Archie, show the people what Rowley has achieved now, man. Show them the press play.
People say the PNM hasn't done anything for the past 5 years, but that's not true. Here are some of our biggest accomplishments in office. We paid Colm Imbert's wife $17 million to power wash the Brian Lara Stadium. It's clean now. We paid Faris Al-Rawi $23 million of taxpayers' money a year to rent their building. We arrested our friend and deputy political leader, Marlene McDonald, on corruption charges. We gave Stuart Young's family millions in state contracts. We finally got proof that Emailgate was false. We raised gas prices 3 times, and nobody rioted until June 2020. We closed down Petrotrin, then sold it to investors. We sold gas to Maduro and lied about it when we got caught. We also implemented the most taxes of any government so we can have more of your money. We crashed the sea bridge, destroying Tobago's economy, and then spent millions more on a new ferry and acted like that was an achievement. On August 10th, put your voting finger next to the party that has shown TNT the middle finger for the past 5 years. Vote PNM, the right choice for another 5 years of misery.
I have nothing more to say. I am telling you, this race should be like Usain Bolt running against Marlene McDonald in 100 meters. And Usain Bolt in all yellow and Marlene in a nice, hot, tight, red dress going down the road. And that is how the race should be come August 10th. It's chalk and cheese. Kamala Prasad Bisesa for plans. UNC Plan 2020. PNM don't even have a manifesto. They have a short doing. They have a small pin. They have a convent girl. Oh yes, I would like you to do that. Yes, all of that. Take all of that and come out of parliament because the country is suffering. Kamala for jobs, Kamala for sport, Kamala for culture, Kamala for health, Kamala for diversification, Kamala for Tobago. All the Tobagonian. Yes, get rid of Awi boy. Awi boy disrespect all like nobody in history. This PNM, I cannot tell a lie. It's the worst government in the history of the Commonwealth. It's not even funny. Ollie will never hear me say that about Patrick Manning, and I used to criticize Patrick Manning and his policies and his lack of dealing with Kaldahat, Uttara Rao, Rangachai and all of them, the boy from Piantech and all of them. But nothing like this. On August 10th, yellow, vote yellow. The Douglas say no race. Vote for David Nakhid, Tunapuna, Member of Parliament. We go on Douglas politics. All of you.
He's the son of the solid people respect. Come here to deal with all the neglect. Vote for this man, you wouldn't regret. Nakhid come to show them action. Dynamic, determined, different and strong. Tunapuna, you know he won't let you down. For his constituency, he has a plan.
So let's all join together as one. If you believe that the time has come, election day when you stay in your hand.
It's for David Nakhid and the rising sun.
Now is the time.
Vote for David Nakhid. 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 Vote for David Nakhid on August 10th. Put your X next to the rising sun. Vote for the UNC.
Into the Lion's Den. Oropuch East, Member of Parliament, Rudal Munilal, Tuesday night. Douglas Politics, 7:30. Hear the lion roar. Ramboros! You can't give the lion any fight in that den. Make way for Rudal Munilal, Douglas Politics, Anil Roberts, Munilal, Tuesday night, 7:30 p.m.
Experience full of education. A man with compassion and courage. The PNM fear him, the people them love him. He have the skills that the man